Alright, everyone. I want to thank you all so much for joining us on this wonderful Thursday evening for some more D&D right here on Lionhead Gaming. Now, thankfully there are no crazy announcements, just some schedule updates. We'll provide those at the end of the session tonight. Everyone's here, and we're all ready to play some Song of Rapture. So, without further ado, Monsieur Omen, it is your game. What do you have for us tonight?
Is everyone actually here, though? I just want to double check.
No.
Where's Brendan?
I'm sort of kind of here.
Okay, so I want to make sure everyone's actually here. I'm like,
Make
okay.
a snack real quick. I'll be on in like a minute.
Sure. Okay, cool. So yeah, we last left the Valiant Vanguard facing off against one of the few, well, you could call it living creatures within this dark and desolated death dungeon. But how we got here is not my story to tell. Can someone tell me what happened last time on the Song of Rapture?
Right. Last time, Gregory was shouting in a hole, frustrated, angry. Persephone and Samantha went to his aid to try to haul him up from this dark crevice of rage. As we were able to retrieve our ally, we failed to notice a creature on the other side of a large chasm. Soon we saw movement, but it was too late, as large tentacles reached across this crevasse and latched onto myself and Luna. Soon we found ourselves hurled across, well, mostly across, for you see Luna was dangled over this deep and dark hole. Javen came to our aid and jumped across in a mighty leap. Persephone quickly wrangled Luna to security with her vine. As war and rage began, we found that this stone-like creature would indeed bleed. Soon we were slaying it, and blood filled my blade. And yet, I failed the group, unable to see this creature, too preoccupied with a previous battle with this so-called doctor. We quickly made our way back across the crevasse. Javen, swiftly, Gregory as well. Unfortunately, my physical prowess nearly allowed me to make the jump. And we carried on throughout this dungeon, led by Samantha and Persephone's eagerness and perhaps curiosity, with Gregory Timberson and myself opening the doors to make sure no one would be harmed. We found ourselves in a bit of a ceremonial chamber, filled with some sort of pentagram and large urns or casts of some sort of liquid. Samantha and Persephone and Luna began to go deeper within as we looked into these large barrels, as we saw blood. And soon they exploded and flooded the room. Creatures. And a large, gibbering, nonsensical beast in the center of it all. It almost appeared as if the room was impenetrable by mere feet. As the blood raged and the creature tried to creep its way into our minds with its nonsensical ways. We were able to fight back, spells, whips, swords, blades, cutting into these vile creatures. At one point I thought for sure it had creeped its way into my mouth, but I said no! And my blade found a true strike, and slew the creature where it stood. It appeared that the doctor was hoarding the blood of those people that volunteered it to him for some sort of evil, diabolical need. Research, perhaps, but I think it was something more malicious. As we carried on further into this place, retracing our steps, Gregory and myself barged into a room and nearly escaped the whipping of sharp metal chains. I sat as we saw these chains swallow up a room, Persephone and Samantha began a conversation as a large crystal of shininess was in this room protecting. I couldn't help but think about the failures I have recently uncovered within my own mind, being tricked by this creature in its lair, unable to remember exactly how I was brought to this place or how easily he was able to deter me from my true mission. Soon I came to my senses and I saw Samantha. It's a large snake. It shocked several people except for Persephone, who seemed overjoyed at the concept of a new animal friend. It's not the first time I've seen a Yuan-Ti turn into such a creature. Samantha filled the form well. She almost looked regal in this new form. They continued to conversate of how to retrieve such a gem within it. Persephone, using her superior wisdom and her knowledge of nature, was able to blow the gem across the room, avoiding the ripping and tearing of these magically infused chains. And soon, she was able to recover the stone. It was indeed a beautiful stone worth quite a sum of money. Perhaps we will be able to find out in some sort of wares, maybe in Crossway. As we continued down, going back towards the Regile door, Samantha reached out ahead of others, back in her normal form at this time, as she was eager to discover what was behind such a door, gilded and golden. As we turned the corner, the doors were flown open, and we saw a hideous creature, a creature of great eeriness. An eye peered back through a room full of tomes and books. As it would appear, we have found either another prisoner or another foe. As that is where we are this evening on the Song of Rapture.
Well done, John. Give yourself some DM inspiration.
Oh,
Good
so
shit,
nice.
John!
I wasn't even here.
Yes, I watched the episode.
Yeah.
Damn right, I watched the episode. It was good.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes if you feel like you ever, maybe you come in a little late on an episode, or maybe you miss an entire episode at all, that's okay, because you can always go through the VODs and watch the previous episodes of any of your favorite Lionhead Gaming presented D&D games. You're right, John. As we ended last session with the group opening the doors, rather ornate-looking doors that led into sort of a disarrayed, but still somewhat immaculate-looking library of sorts, leading up to a small flight of stairs, at the head of which stood this mangled-looking creature, its body large like yours, but thin and hunched, hidden beneath a torn and tattered cloak, torn from a series of large spikes that ripped out from its back. The only true distinguishable part about its body, the only thing that seems to light this dim, dark room, is a large, emerald-colored eye, the size of its own head, glaring back at you as it greeted you all warmly despite the dark and desolated nature of this dungeon. As we return to a scene, the doors finally coming to their stop, Gregory, Persephone heading the doors with Samantha behind them, the rest of the group starting to catch up. As this twisted-looking creature turns, you can see its face thin and gaunt-like, almost skeletal, save for that large, pulsing, fleshy eye, turning to face you in a perpetual smile.
Ah, good, good. The guests are finally here. The doctor will be awoken soon. Yes, just a matter of time. But I can keep you company for now.
Who are you?
I am the Master's aide. I am Uveitich. But it doesn't matter to you. Who are you? No, do not answer. I will find out.
As Persephone, give me a deception check. As you see this thing's eye beginning to glow a little brighter, and you feel this sort of soft, almost like prickling sensation, almost like a numbness at the front of your head. And it feels like your mind is sort of being like prodded with needles as this thing stares at you very, very intently. Doo-doo-doo. Ooh. In the moment, you feel the sudden, like, sharp spike, like a needle pulls past your skull into the soft meat, and it vanishes the next second. It's a really strange, intrusive feeling, and then the eye blinks.
Oh, forgive me for not introducing myself with much greater poise, my lady. Was not assuming I would be in the presence of a noble.
Persephone just kind of freezes when he says that.
Oh, mind the carpet as you walk in. It has a tendency of slipping beneath the feet.
What are you doing here, creature?
I am performing research for the master. He needs one to seek secrets within the tomes. And that is my purpose, to seek them. But what is your purpose? No, don't tell me. I will find out.
As Quill, give me a deception check. Ooh. Let's see. Whew. As you feel that same sort of sensation, Persephone, as your mind sort of being spiked, you're keeping yourself poised and strong against this thing's glowing eye facing you, staring you down, and suddenly, in the midst of it, that sharp spike into your mind.
Oh, more slayers. Slayers always come down here. They always find themselves in the doctor's tomb. It does not matter. They do not succeed.
And why is it that they don't succeed?
Let's see. Have you ever killed a vampire before? Have you ever struck its heart with a sharp piece of wood? Have you run its body beneath a rolling current of water? Or are you just here swinging swords and slinging spells?
What the hell?
Oh, I'm done listening to you speak. Where is... What are we looking for? Or what was it again?
Oh, I'll help remind you. One moment.
Give me a deception check.
The symbol. Is it? Do we just know it as a symbol, or is it like a specific type
Well,
of...
Persephone, seeing as Luna stops, she goes for her ring. Symbol of Sune, true name, what binds him to the town?
No, this one. This one looks interesting.
As he just seemed to be minding you guys, just sort of walking into this room. Seems like this place sort of dark and desolate. Looking over at you, Luna.
Ah. Now this is interesting. This one looks like a person, but it roils in darkness. It hides its true nature. Tell me, are you his moonlight? You are, aren't you? I can see it. The walking shadow. The living undeath. Interesting. How you stumbled back where you came from. Interesting indeed.
As he starts to hobble his way down these little steps, you can see his robe catching on some of the stairs as he does.
Interesting indeed.
All
He seems
right,
to be approaching you, Luna.
Luna.
It's okay, Craig.
Persephone's going to go
Yeah,
straight for
same.
the book on the table now that he's moved away, just to see what he's been researching. She knows time is short, so she's trying to get any information as she can, even though this is very awkward.
Sure. As you look at this book, it's a rather thick tome, and as you sort of... Are you trying to do it quietly without him noticing?
Yeah,
Give me a stealth check.
yeah.
Do
let's
I
try
do I
that.
see anything in the corner of the room?
You see, as you turn the corner, you do see these large statues. At the moment you turn around to look at them, the heads turn to face you. But they don't seem to move. But yeah, you look over this book, Persephone, and as you have a very careful moment to pick it up and sort of maneuver it a little bit, you pull your fingers under the cover and turn it over, and you realize it's a thick, large tome. And when you turn the cover over, you can see sort of like a face facing back at you, this ornate shape of what looks to be a skull, as you find this large, terrifying looking tome. And the pages within, as you sort of flip through them, look a little strange. Like, it looks like they're all written by hand by some old archaic scribe. But as sort of you fold the pages between your hands very carefully and quietly so that the creature doesn't notice you, you can see sort of almost like tufts of dust come down from the words itself, as if the ink used to write them was drying and falling away, but they don't seem to be coming apart. It's almost like there's dust pouring off of them.
And you said it's like arcane writing. Like maybe I just can't recognize it immediately.
It seems to be written in some common, but there's a lot of like. It seems like from obvious to you, a lot of writing in the verse and formula of Arcana mixed with some other maybe more deeper languages. But yeah, this creature walking towards you, Luna. This eye beginning to glow brighter and brighter. Give me a deception check.
I bring my ring up. Samantha, take a look at this.
Hmm.
Nice. This creature looks up at you, Luna. You can see this eye glowing now, filling the room with a bit more light as it stares at you, just smiling.
Secrets, secrets, secrets. Oh, it's true. You wiped them all away. All away from your mind. Good, good. Makes you a much more suitable candidate. Good.
Strange.
Good.
Candidate for
Continue
what?
your work. For his work? Have you seen these places? Have you seen the things crawling around? Creations, shambling mounds of flesh and tissue, liquid and solid.
As he motions back towards you, Persephone, realizing you're now sort of standing between him and the tome.
What he seeks is to create something from nothing, to create life from death, to turn what is dark and shadow, the material that pours from that world, into living things.
And
He's
you're
tried and
helping.
failed. But
him.
you,
As a big old clawed hand reaches up close to your face, Luna.
you are perfect, composed of shadow, but not dead, not twisted, not monstrous. Beautiful.
I move
Just
his
raise
hand
my
away from
sword
my
up in
face.
between the two
Don't
of them.
touch me.
Oh, perfect.
Una, I don't like a damn thing that's come out his mouth so far.
We're looking for a symbol that I assume you were here when a bunch of clerics came down to try and kill Eric Gilner. Where is it?
And why would I tell you where that weapon resides?
Are these like bookshelves and everything? Like, are there books in here and tomes?
Yep, it looks like there's books and vials and all sorts of alchemical.
I'm just gonna pull out my sword, and I'm just gonna start taking it down the road, just ding, 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 like just knocking stuff off. Ding, ding, ding,
Just
ding.
pushing things over.
Mm-hmm.
You being quiet about it.
You're not
Nope.
a cat anymore, God.
All right. As you do, you hear the sound of clinking, and you sort of turn around. And you can see Quill, off the edge of your light, Gregory, starting to push some of these objects aside. And as soon as they start to move, you hear the shuffling of steel, and then this creature's head turns to face him. There's a bright glow.
We
I'm
can
not to
leave
touch
you.
that.
As roll me some initiative.
Yeah, good.
Ooh. I don't actually have light.
Fuck,
I just have
talking.
dark
I just
vision.
want to kill the thing.
Oh, wrong button. I killed him.
Yeah, I popped my dark vision goggles on. I just put light so I could actually see.
Oh, I got your light, baby.
Yeah, but you didn't do the slash me, Brendan. So it
Well,
don't count.
but it wasn't in first person. I typed it out though.
I know. There's our Javen. And
I
there's
was
our Mel.
about to ask, like, if
There's
you're
our Mel.
quiet.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
click my button.
low initiative rolls per usual.
Oof.
Okay.
God damn it, Quill. Now we just have to find the thing on our own.
One moment. Okay.
Where's this music
As
coming?
Javen It seems like the moment that Quill begins to mess with things in the back of the room, sort of visible through the sight of your torchlight sort of pouring into the room, this creature turns its head to face him, and you can see its quills rise up angrily. Its cloaks start to tear and rip, and it sounds like things in the room are starting to shuffle around. It seems like combat is popping off. What do you do?
Oh, he didn't like that. Can't really get in between Luna and the thing. So, whoosh on past Luna and to the side of this thing. Ooh. Instead, like there's like quills sticking up off of his back, like piercing through his clothing and his cloak.
Oh yeah, it looks like he's wearing this big black robe down his body, and where like the back would rise up into a big hump, there's just spikes and quills ripping through it as they are starting to rattle aggressively.
Yeah, just coming up from the front, and as I, just running to him and sticking my arm out, trying to clothesline him in the head.
Okay, give me that attack roll. As you start to run up and start trying to lariat him off his feet. He immediately turns his eye, like sort of cocks it towards you, and immediately his quills go flat and he ducks underneath it, and just woof, your attack goes wide.
As I back kick him.
Oh, you swing around, your fist coming back this side again. Yep. His eye's now on you, woof, ducking out of the way.
I didn't get sure I said it. One more punch in the gut. I tried to go high, I tried to go low. Let's go for the middle. Try to sock it to him where it hurts.
Jesus!
1, 2, 3.
As the fist comes flying towards his gut, you see his body's weaving around, and he seems to he's keeping his core level, which is a good sign. If he's constantly throwing his weight around, he can't defend his center. But the moment your fist comes close, almost with surprising speed, this clawed hand reaches out and catches your fist. You feel like punching into like a handful of barbs and pull your hand away as he seems to deflect your blow.
Swift one. I'll kill you last.
Thank you. Having my turn?
Much appreciated.
Alright. Samantha, you see Javen slip by you guys, get close to this creature, but all of his strikes seem to be going a little too wide or not quite landing their mark.
And you see Samantha just sort of... You hear like these odd sort of bony cracks sort of come from her as she seems to almost sort of limber up her whole body before shifting herself back a step and then just channeling magic through her form, as it seems like for a moment she just has this black cloak billowing off of her legs down there, and then they're not. As it seems like from the waist down she turns into a giant snake. As she channels this magic in and tries to wrap this creature up in her new serpentine form. As I'm going to cast, for the first time, Constriction.
Ooh.
Nice.
Calling on a form I haven't been able to use in a really long time, and I just
Go on.
try to slide my way up and wrap him up tight inside of myself.
Okay, give me that spell attack roll.
You can have wild shape too? Persephone sees just Samantha half snake form.
I guess I need to put 2 versions of this on my character sheet, so I have an attack form and a whatchamacallit form.
That's what I do. Do that.
Grab that motherfucker.
19.
Ooh. As this big tail comes winding around your allies, it seems like it's a bit hard it's first time you're using it and trying not to wrap your allies in this winding tail, but you are quite proficient in the use of basically angling your magic between allies, getting through obstacles. As it seems like this creature tries to pull away, its eye immediately turning towards you as you channel your magic. But as it tries to pull away, that long tail extends out and wraps around his body.
He is grappled and restrained.
Mm-hmm.
Taking 5d10.
Give me that damage. Ooh, nice. Just wraps around. You can see some of the spikes actually go through the tail meat, but you don't feel it, Samantha. It seems like it's just an extended magical part of you, and you can see, despite that, just reaching down and crushing this thing. His body immediately starts to squeezing him out of its mouth. The mouth, this gout of red blood pours out, and its eyeball seems to be sticking out further of its skull.
Looking down at this creature, my snake's flaring up on the side of my head. I will squeeze the answers out of you, one way or another, as I use my bonus action to tighten my grip again.
Holy shit!
Yep.
As this thing puts its claws on the leg, trying to pull it apart, trying not to get stuck in this thing. Let's see. Pulling as it can, but then that last bit comes crashing down and crushes him immensely. You can see his eyeball starting to pop immediately out of its head, almost basically barely hanging on. As he is barely hanging on himself.
As yield is the last word I say to him, just trying to be as intimidating and overwhelming as possible. So that's it for me, baby.
Okay. Nice. As Quill, you see Samantha's body become this half serpentine figure, wrapping up and almost crushing this thing in one solid squeeze. But then next to you, this figure suddenly stands forward and pulls itself forward at once, reaching out to try and catch onto your sword, and its other hand reaching out to punch you. It doesn't seem like it has a weapon in its hand. It just seems to be using these big metal fists, just trying to pound them into you. Let's see. Nice. One fist comes striking down at you. Ooh, a 13, not doing it.
I just engaged
Scraping
the
across
core.
And then just swinging the other fist in your direction. Ugh. This time a 22. Seems it was one strikes down to your arm, and then one comes up and hits you at your unprotected face, doing 7 bludgeoning damage. Okay.
Spit out, and I'll be like, Persephone, there's always more than one.
Nice. Okay. Samantha, you're holding onto this creature, squeezing the life out of this thing. Its blood just pouring down, its sharp teeth, its eye basically being pushed out of its own skull. It's like,
I told you. Watch your step.
as beneath your body. Everyone, give me a dexterity saving throw. Gregory, Samantha, and Luna.
I was gonna say, I'm not on the carpet!
Do I see what's going on?
Seems like you feel. You don't necessarily see it. You feel it. As it seems like the rug beneath your feet is pulling.
The room is a mimic, confirmed. That's the tongue.
Do I have advantage or not?
It just consumes you.
Do I sense the danger?
You can see in the room, so yes. You can see the carpet moving beneath your feet.
Damn it.
You have your goggles on. As, let's see, even Gregory's bonus. Yeah, as Gregory and Stephanie, you don't need to do it. Let's do 3. Yeah. So Gregory, you feel the ground shifting beneath your feet, and immediately instinct tells you to pull away. Otherwise, this thing, surprisingly just being a thin fabric on the ground, suddenly pulls up. And if you had stood on it, would have slipped you right off your feet as you get forced up. Where are you at? There you are. You get forced up and out of here against this pillar, sort of pushing down. But Samantha and Luna, not quite as quick on your feet. The ground beneath you shifting, maybe because you, Samantha, your lower legs are now a serpentine form, a little hard to keep your balance on that, especially it's the first time using it in this. Luna, sort of keeping your focus on this creature that was just touching you and trying to discern your true nature. Both of you get slipped and fall as you were both knocked prone. As the carpet suddenly pulls up beneath your feet, and you can see it almost looks like this long stretch that leads up the stairs and then down here towards the door. There are actually 2 different segments. As this lower half rises up beneath you guys, and you can see it curls upward, almost like a serpent of sorts, and faces down on top of you, Samantha, as you guys find yourselves beset by this large moving carpet, aiming its way towards you. And the first thing it does is wrap up and try to wrap around you, Samantha.
As it tries to wrap out towards her, I swing my sword out, trying to defend her as I realize I escaped this thing, but Luna, Samantha, not so lucky, just trying to impose my sword in between the two of them. Not enough strength to actually take a blow, just trying to put steel in front of her body.
As the thing's going to try and wrap itself around you, Samantha. 18.
The card didn't post.
As this large wrapping carpet seems to swoop around your body just as you see this creature squeezing beneath your serpent tail. This carpet seems to wrap up around your own form. You find yourself unable to see. Your mouth and throat are being sort of pressed in by the fabric, almost like you're being constricted yourself. You try to speak out, it might start to crush even further. And yeah, you're currently restrained. At the start of your turn, you will take 11, 13 damage. But Gregory, as you see this thing wrap up around Samantha, you do notice that there's this opportunity to strike immediately after. Or give me disadvantage.
I was giving it disadvantage.
Oh, okay. Then 15 doesn't hit them.
Hey! There you go.
As it, fortunately, seeing this thing reach out to come on Samantha, yeah, the sword comes in between and just starts covering it to the side, pushes it away, and leaves it back standing.
Away from her.
Thank you, Gregory.
Don't mention it.
Let's see. Okay. As down here, Persephone, you hear this. There's another one of these armored forms. The one that seemed to come after Quill comes around the other side. Aiming at you. This one just running forward, seeing your hands sort of pulling away now from this tome. Fists drawn. 2 strikes coming at you from big metal fists. 6.
No.
A wide strike, and the one coming. Woof. That's a 6.
No.
This thing is swinging wide.
Good job
Okay.
listening.
As Quill, recovering from that blow, this creature is
Swing
standing
at
for-
him.
All right, swing at him. Ooh, as that strike will connect, carving up into the armor, carving up into the steel, you can see where the armor actually breaks. This sort of spray of like black dust seems to pour out from the open armored wound, as you seem to do a good amount of damage.
Gonna swing again.
Ooh, as that strike will connect as well, carving to the other side of him, making like a big X into the metal itself. That will also do some good damage, as this thing now has almost like a can opener when it attacked this creature. This open wound in its metal body spilling out this like black dust from its form.
Black dust. Yeah. I'll use my bonus action to go into that stance so it can't move forward.
Sure. Keeping your defense high. All right.
That's my turn.
As Luna knocked onto the ground, but still, keeping your health together, still having all your magic at your disposal. You see this rug now sort of rising up beneath your feet between you guys, almost slipping in between your spaces. Trying to get in between, it looks like Samantha and the creature she's currently just throttling to death.
Just get off the floor. Say, fuck's sake, people. I literally just said, stop touching things. As I will kind of move away from this carpet, and I guess I can still kind of get in close to this guy, or just like move past Javen. So I'll get into this guy's face as he's wrapped in Samantha's tail body thing, and I raised my hand in front of his giant eye and I said, when I asked you where these things were, it wasn't a question, it wasn't a request, it was a demand. You're going to answer my questions. Now call off these creatures. As this black energy just kind of drips from her hands and just drips into his eye, behind his eye, and into his brain, as I will cast Dominate Person. Wait a minute. I can't cast Dominate Person. He's not a person.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh no!
I will turn. I will
Hate people.
turn 3 sorcerer points into suggestion. There we go. That works.
Okay, let's see.
Nice.
Nice save.
This creature's choking on its own blood, the eyeball ready to pop out, looking up at you now. So you can see from where the beautiful, almost beautiful, I guess, emerald color from where the depths of where the veins and the connected all tissue would be, this creeping redness starting to take over as this thing's being throttled and choked almost to death. He's got to make a wisdom saving throw.
So has like Samantha checked her hair to make sure all of her snakes still have tongues, or
Also
What?
have
it's
tongues.
one of the components? It's one of the
Ooh.
components. A snake's tongue.
Pop one out. DC 16?
They're not consumed. You just have to have
I think
some.
you-
She's got
Yeah,
plenty.
It's literally in my mouth.
As you
Does he
see
have advantage
his
with
eyes
this
start to
house?
stare at you, the pupil growing larger and larger. This seems like he's trying to say something, choking on his own blood. And then As it's calling out, and you can see some of the guards starting to reach out and punch at Quill and Persephone now sort of stop and lock in place. And the carpet beneath your feet, all those riling, still trying to grab at Samantha, sort of stops and goes in almost like a docile position. But it seems like for now, things have kind of come to a standstill. This creature coughing up blood.
Oh my
I
god.
loosen up my tail's grip just enough so that I'm not literally killing him, but I'm still holding him restrained.
Yeah.
Answer her questions.
Wonderful. So wonderful. Better than expected. Better than expected.
As he seems to be, although in horrible pain, sort of just, I mean, again, he looks like his face is sort of twisted in a perpetual grin. So it seems like he's kind of enjoying this.
Well done. Well done. Oh, the master will be pleased.
I grab him by the chin. Symbol of Sune or his true name, one of the two. Or both.
You'll find that blessed beacon hidden beneath a door, veiled in chains. Hidden away so no hands can reach. Only those who walk through spikes and razors can touch it.
Back where we came, then.
Oh my god.
Right. Persephone, the gem. Is it that gem?
Persephone pulls out the agate.
Stone, yes. Beacon, no. Catalyst for magic, that is. Deactivated it, you must have done. Well done. Scholars of magic you are. I don't know, I'm talking like this character.
Because you're choking.
It's like Yoda.
Oh, yeah, you are speaking in Yoda.
So it's
man, you can
underneath
speak
the
as Yoda whatever
door?
you want.
There must be a trapdoor, some hidden passage, or something that was protecting. We'll find it.
The heart of the chamber. You will find a small room.
Will was
Chains hang
right.
from the door. Cannot enter without undoing its magic. The master is clever. Does not hide all of his traps in one room.
And Eric's real name, his true name, do you know it?
Not even he remembers what he used to be. A lord of night, I was told. A lord of night, I was tasked to teach. But
who?
now.
He just continues to laugh and laugh and laugh until he starts choking on his own blood, of course.
We need to go back to that room now.
These things gonna be coming after us. How long is that? What'd you do to him? Like,
For the last 8 hours. So we should just
Unless
exit
you
the room real quick.
Hit him or kill him. Breaks that magic's charm.
What if your mind wanders, Luna, and you focus it on something else?
That's why I think we should just, leave the room real quick.
right.
You creature. Why do you serve him? Go. I'll be right behind you.
Persephone's going to try to shove that book in her bag as everybody's
Like
starting to leave.
the book itself, and you start pulling it into your bag. You also notice on the table there's like another couple things. It's like a small glass vial that, as you're sort of brushing past the book, you don't even realize it at first. It looks empty in this dark room, but as Davin's light sort of shines around, you realize it's actually full. It's full of this like almost dark, inky blackness.
I'll raise
So,
my
like, it's about the size.
ring up to my
I
finger.
take that too.
Grab
Okay.
it all, Persephone.
Grab two of
Grab it
them.
all. Just gonna step around the magical carpet.
Kind of just waves at you. slips out from beneath your feet.
Just hold my sword up and slowly back up out of the room.
Javen, you watch over Samantha. Great. All right. Awesome.
Oh, that's right. He went with BRB.
Yeah.
Shouldn't like move him out.
That's a while ago.
All right, I'm gonna go.
All right.
What I do?
Why do you serve him?
Oh, it will be glorious. But I don't think I will see it.
You'll see it if you answer her question. Nope, that didn't work. Darn.
You could see something far greater. Look,
Just-
whelp. So I just try to grab his face and point it up at mine.
He's looking at you, his eyes sort of looking all over the place, and then goes center right at yours, just still. Give me a deception check. Give me a deception check as that eye begins to glow.
Can I willingly fail it?
Sure. You feel this sort of prickling sensation. Pretty strong for you to be able to resist. Maybe only in your weakest moment could you find something trying to take from you. But no. Seems like you wouldn't allow it to do so. It's like, it's allowing like a dagger to strike a man covered in plate mail.
I want to try to allow him to see what I want him to see.
You're just allowing his eye to work its magic then?
Yes.
Okay. His eye begins to glow. Although, as you can see, no longer just a green glow, sort of like ringed with a soft red light as the eye continues to sort of become dark red, filling up with blood. He seems to look you over. The eye pupil becomes larger, dilating until it eventually constricts to a small, like, pinpoint as it looks at you.
Divinity. Divinity before me. Now that is a worthy secret.
And a worthy master. What you serve now, and you will collect secrets from me. So I just try to throw him up against a bookshelf, ending my spell.
Sure. Toss him away against the wall, tail unwrapping from him. Lands on the ground. Uh-oh, everyone freeze.
You'd like disconnected.
You died.
You're just gone.
Oh, I see.
So is Peter.
No.
Oh, I could see your face now. Stop. Okay, just making sure it wasn't just me. As he sort of gets freed and lands on the ground.
Divinity walking among them. Divinity walking among the world. This changes things.
So all he seems to be doing is sort of just kneeling on the ground, just trying to recatch his breath as his eye slowly but surely goes from that dark red to that bright green once more.
Oh, are we not gonna kill it, Samantha?
She, you see, all of her hair sort of looking at this creature. She's walking away from it, reaching back and closing the doors. And then it all just sort of comes back up to you, Luna. I think it might prove quite useful for my endeavors. Need someone who knows books better than I do.
Right. Let's go get the sigil.
All right, everyone, power walking. Let's go.
Okay. You guys start heading your way back, Persephone having shoved the book into her bag.
And the vial.
Everyone. And the vials. All two of them. You guys start making your way back north.
Can you wait down south fucking fast?
You come across the corner and you can see back at the atrium of this place that girl still sleeping in her cage. It seems like everything has sort of been still. Although the only thing that seems to have changed from your perspective as you're walking is the ground itself. As you're walking, you look down. It's always had this sort of ankle-high, dark gray, almost black fog. Seems like it's somewhat. I mean, maybe it's just growing thicker or growing a little taller. Seems almost lifting off the ground now, no longer just ankle high, going like mid shin.
Huh. I don't think it was that way, Quill. We're still going this way.
No, we have to go around this way. It's through the ritual room where all the blood masses were. As Persephone races off back towards the room. See, I knew something that trap wasn't going to be just a normal room, and even though I just got a gem and I felt a little bit disappointed, I was foolish not to even check even further. Because it's obviously important!
So I'm just gonna put my hand out there to make sure she doesn't go in the room.
All the magic, like, all the chains fell down when I
You
got
guys
to
round the corner and you see these doors still hung open before you. But unlike before, when these chains were all held up high in the air, see, now they're all just sort of dangling down, hanging quite low in the air.
I'm gonna toss a javelin through the room just to make sure.
Sure. Take a javelin, flies through the air, and hits against the stone wall before falling down. And it seems like as you throw it, going flying through the air, surely this wall sort of just sliding down carefully, maybe slowly but surely, having been broken and shattered a bit easier with your javelin. It seems like one of the walls is starting to give in because this crack starting to slowly form. You can see the shape open up, and there's a small divot in the wall, and inside there's an object, a small like altar top of sorts, on top of which there seems to be a box, very small in shape, but surrounded and wrapped in what looks to be chains.
I'm gonna walk in.
That must
You
be
take a
it.
step in. Stepping over all these rattling steel chains until you get back to where it looks like the magic circle is sort of carved into the stonework on the ground and no longer seems to be glowing, although it seems like maybe the light, whatever should be on there, is slowly fading.
Hold on, Quill.
What?
We don't
So I pick up my
touch
javelin.
things.
Yeah,
This is
they're
mine.
Okay. Just didn't want you to touch the box and get us all killed by these. I'm actually going to step
Do
out
we
of
see
this
all the
room.
box,
Good
or is
one,
it just
guys.
like a hole in the wall?
It's like it looks like the wall itself is starting to collapse and break, and your javelin basically already broke through the rest of it as it hit.
Oh, you're a real robot.
Oh,
It's
crunchy.
Old Omen.
Oh.
Old Omen is back, baby!
Yeah, basically,
No.
it looks like when it was already cracking and breaking and falling apart, as if it's been sort of breaking down since you last came here. And then you threw your javelin at it, and the whole wall just sort of shattered and fell down as it sort of revealed this large opening in the wall.
There's some sort of book back here. Just covered in chains.
Just a book or a box? Does it have the symbol of Sune on it? Does it have a stone?
Does it? Do I
You
know
look
what this
down, it
is?
looks like there's sort of like a little, like a little altar top of sorts, like just something you probably use to carry reliquaries. And at the top of it is this looks like a wooden box wrapped in chains with locks sort of attached to it. Looks like it's meant to
It's a
keep this thing
wooden
from being
box
opened.
with chains around it. It has locks.
Okay, bring it here. Maybe we can unlock it. We don't have a lot of time left.
So is this straight up like a what's the word I'm looking for? Reliquary? Can we like are these posts? Can I just pick up this whole thing?
You could.
Is it the Ark of the
Can be
Covenant?
carried? Yeah.
You could.
I said, look over at Samantha. Well, shall we?
Oh, no, that's what I have. Gregory, could you grab that?
Yeah.
Slave.
Alright.
It just looks
The
heavy,
divine
Luna.
does not want to touch it. Come now, Greg.
Yeah, let's get this thing the hell out of here.
Look over the long way. Don't have it go across the circle.
Right, alright. Yeah.
So obviously we have our moving men shirts on, right? And the little
Sure.
belts and
It's like moving a
Grabbing
couch.
each end of this large, like basically like a slab with handles. You pick it up, and this little strange thing's oddly light. Seems like it was resting on like some small like table of sorts within here, like a pillar. Yeah, easily able to lift it up and carefully walking between the pillars and over the chains that now hang slack. You're able to bring it out into this open room.
Set it down.
And I would. Go
Does
get this
anyone
thing
know how to
open.
pick locks?
Well, without the hammer? So I look with accusation at Greg and Samantha. So that
I can
everything
pick
inside
locks.
stays intact?
Who would
Great.
use a
There's
hammer to pick a lock?
Oh my God, Quill. I will tell you this story when we go back to Oakwell. You have to hear it. Remind me. 'Cause I
Of
might
course,
forget.
my lady.
So attempt to pick the lock.
Sure. You pull out your thieves' tools, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Also, we're
Yeah,
still
you
in
pull out your-
initiative.
Just Persephone.
Just fighting.
Quill.
You're always fighting. As you pull out your small box of tools, your small fine needles and little saws. You look down. Looks like there's a couple of locks to pick. They don't look particularly hard, but it's a matter of making sure you get through both of them at the same. Getting through one at a time. It's more of a time-consuming thing. Give me a thieves' tools check with dexterity. All right, yeah, easily enough.
Bravo. Good job.
Of all the things you've been facing in this dungeon, all the problems you've been facing on your journeys here, 2 locks are definitely the least of all of them. As easily enough, you take a little bobby pin, put it in one of the locks, twist it, turn it, comes unlocked. Next one, almost like in a manner of just seconds, just like with a swift hand motion. These locks come undone, the chains fall slack, and the box is free.
So,
Open the box.
Open the box.
Pull open the box, and as you do, the first thing that hits you is like it's like you're looking into a flashlight, just like a torchlight. Immediately, the soft golden light starts to spill from out inside this small hand-sized box. And as your eyes start to adjust to it, as you look at it, it looks like sort of sitting at the bottom of this box, not in any ornate or reverent manner, just more resting at the bottom of this wooden crate. Is a small hexagonal shaped, looks like a gem. Looks like a small, like faceted, almost flat gemstone that maybe you would recognize, Persephone, through your understanding of Earth as a sunstone. This dark, sort of not dark, but a mild amber color, carved in shape of a hexagon. Looks like it would have been part of like an amulet or maybe part of a brooch, but hanging from a chain or stuck to a pin. But instead, it just seems to have either been removed or just separated entirely. The thing sits on a facet that you would apply like probably be attached to something, but no, it seems to stand alone. And as you look at it, as you open the box and revealed it, from within the pit of this small gem is maybe just from looking into the dark all this time, only having your torchlight and your light spell, Gregory, sort of guiding the way. But now this light, soft and golden, sort of fills this small area, fills the box, and then dims until it just fills the gem as you find this very beautiful looking sunset.
This has to be it.
Gregory,
Please,
perhaps
God.
you should grab it.
I hope it's true. Please be true. As I'm gonna grab onto my holy symbol, and pain starts to rack up through the side of my head as I open my eyes and look down at this thing, hoping to feel some divinity as I use the last bit of my divine. Look at this thing.
I mean,
All
it
right.
is a sunstone. It would make a lot of sense.
Gregory, you're channeling your power. You're looking down to this small box where the stone's now starting to dim in its light, and your senses come online. You can feel all around you that dim coldness, that shadow blanketing everything. You can see it as your vision begins to take hold, spreading over everything. And now, after maybe an hour or so, have you been fighting in here? Getting close to everyone. That veil that seemed to have been lifted when the statue was destroyed is now settling closer back to the ground and to the walls, and you can see it. Some of it starting to creep up the legs and arms of your allies until that sight focuses on this gem. And as it does, you can see the shadow creeping up to it and then immediately just dissolve away as that soft light just seems to burn away the desecration, that persistent sense of undeath. And you're just met with, like, in this cold dungeon, like the first feeling of actual warmth, like you're out in the sun, like you're back on the surface again in Oakwell. as this object, although small, is just radiating immense sense of consecration, just as if this thing alone, if it were allowed to bleed, would purify this whole place and everything in it.
What does Greg's face look like? Because I'm staring at him pretty intently.
See me just sort of my eyes darting around for a second as my vision's starting to come unblurred as it just gets locked on this thing, and you just see my hand just sort of deadpan starting to reach for this thing. Oh, thank the gods. Then the vision fades. Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Good. That's not to say the doctor is not still quite dangerous. Plus, who knows what else is in this place. And we do not know where we can find him. But
Maybe he'll just come to us.
Now, how do we use it?
I don't know.
does it seem to just be shedding light around us, God?
Like sort of
Crunchy! Crunch!
Move us to the appropriate
I don't
region,
know.
the correct region.
The correct region. That begins with a C.
Hopefully that's better.
Almost just dead now.
He's
I
dead
don't
on
think
me.
he's
He's
saying
dead.
Paper.
Oh,
There we go.
He's a robot.
Hey, there we go.
Shit.
Yep, it seems like the light sort of spread out from the box when you first opened it and then it dimmed down. The object itself seems to be letting off a small amount, but no more than the object itself. So it's like the object itself is glowing brightly, but, you know, it's not shedding too much light. But yeah, it seems to be having some sort of magical light effect. Yeah, it seems like it's glowing. It's a glowing stone. You can look it over if you want.
So, what was his
What's
name?
his name? I have
Starled?
no idea, but
Yeah, Starhold. Maybe he can tell us how to use the damn thing.
maybe, possibly, I don't know, take another rest so that Persephone and Quill don't die. If we can
Perhaps
afford
we
it.
can
I don't think we have the time.
rest in his room while he talks to you. Gregory, would you carry this? I can think of no one more appropriate to carry.
I take it. It's totally
Taking
my
of a god.
aesthetic.
Yeah, because it's just shining bright light all over you, and you have disadvantage on everything.
I mean, Luna, he's coming after you. It might help protect you.
I don't really think he's going to try and kill me. If anything, he's going to try and kill all of you and then just take me back. So
You're all
Then
still
maybe that's
standing
all.
plus
here.
this kind of clashes with who I am as a person, so take
Just
it.
gonna
Just hurry
reach
up and
my
take it. I
hand
swear
in
to fucking
there,
God.
and I'm just gonna
I slap
grab
it
it.
away. Just hurry up and take it.
All right now. So back to Pharaoh.
Yeah. But if we're going to go back to Pharaoh, we need to be careful. I don't really want to give him a reason to be killed.
He's lived a long,
Gregory,
he's lived a
Gregory,
long life. He'll be
you seem
fine.
to have this thing in your hand,
Luna.
Gregory, the actual stone.
Quill's got it.
Okay. Yeah, Quill, you pull up the stone. You actually can look at it now in your hand, maneuvering the whole thing rather than just looking at it in a box. Yeah, it's a pretty ornate, beautiful looking stone. Sheds some good light. You turn it around, and oh, it looks like on the back of the actual facet there seems to be this like ring of very ornate writing in a language that I don't think you can read.
Probably.
Oh!
Hmm.
Do I
My
recognize
back
the
slinks.
script at all? Is it like Dwarven and Mag?
Sure, roll
or
me a
is it-
straight int check.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be great.
Oh boy.
What's going on,
And
Quill?
Oh,
it
boy.
looks. I mean, it looks kind of like Elven. It looks, you know, fancy. Looks like it's very well like an old language of some sort and very beautiful, but not really sticking out what exactly script it would be. It's not a script you've seen before.
There's
Something all
writing
right,
on the
Quill.
back of this. Maybe the old
Hey.
man will know what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Wait, Quill,
That's-
the Quill is
He's
blind.
blind.
He can't read it.
Ah,
Just give it to Gregory. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me see the writing on the back.
so I'll hold it up for Samantha to read.
If Quill can't read up, I mean, unless it's in 12, and I know a bit.
Okay, we're gonna keep walking. She can read it while we can walk, right? Persephone's gonna start
That's the
pushing
whole way
people
I'm
forward.
walking.
As you hold up the stone, you can see Samantha looking at it. I guess as you're walking backwards, Quill. It looks like it.
No,
Yeah,
I
it's a
just
bit
hold
hard-
it like this when I'm walking.
Just in
one
the wrong
hand behind me.
direction.
Hold it behind
As you-
it.
My roll
That's
20 is
terrible.
misbehaving, so it's moving me backwards when I'm trying to move forward. I don't know what's going on.
Move the camera with
You
you.
get a look at it, Samantha, and it seems like your first glance, it's, it looks like elven of sorts, but then it's something you've never seen too often here in this realm. Something not often written by the hands of mortals. It looks like it's celestial. Seems like it's a ring, almost like a prayer written around the back of this little gem.
Oh, Quill, stop.
We don't
This
have
is-
time to stop. We'll stop in the room.
We don't need to see him now. Let me read the actual prayer on the back of this. It's in Celestial. Give it. You need a free hand for your blade anyway. So just try to take the Sunstone and finally really read it.
Finally, now just not 10 feet ahead of you with a hand held backwards trying to make you read it, I guess. A hand-sized object with writing on it. Not really. A little weird, but we're going to keep rolling with it. You get a better look at it. Again, it looks like to be like some sort of archaic prayer to Sune, one that celebrates both joy, creativity, and the beauty, mostly focusing on the art of the first spark itself, the sun. But as you're reading it, some words seem to be somewhat more pronounced, larger in text, a bit more bold, as it were, written on the ring. 3 distinct ones written in Celestial, the words Igni, Solis, and Astrum. And as you're sort of looking over them, maybe muttering the words to yourself, you can see each one begins to softly glow with a soft amount of light as this thing begins to pulse with magic. And as you're holding it, it seems like this magic can answer your call. It doesn't need to attune to you, it seems to just be answering your beckoning call. The words within granting them power. As just holding onto this thing, you start to really understand how magic can be drawn from the beacon of the Lightbringer.
Holy shit, that's a wall.
Uh,
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, let me fucking hold on. Let's bring the camera
As
over
you can't read
guys.
that by walking backwards.
No, that is okay. This is all on the back in Celestial.
This is 3 words in Celestial, and it means all of this.
Where are the terms and conditions?
Seems like it is a stone filled with, looks like the light of the sun itself. It can be called upon by speaking the words, although it seems like how much magic this thing has might be limited. Seems like if you were to speak out and call one of these words, channel some of its power, you can actually pull upon maybe the power of light or even the sun itself, the first spark, to adhere or to, I guess, obfuscate your enemies. Especially those who have a weakness for the sun. That's my too long didn't read.
Which one is the sun one?
Oh. Alright. Now that I've sort of gotten a feeling for it, I see. This makes perfect sense. It's, this will respond to the proper command words written on the back in Celestial. Though there's a limitation to how much magic this thing contains. But we need not endanger him or waste any more time. Now we just have to figure out how we're going to find the doctor. This is definitely the answer to how we beat him, though.
Do we need to use it up close or at a distance?
You can simply speak the command word for the first engraving here. Igni. And it will shed light. A light that he will not be able to withstand. Though it looks like you can also just actually fire sunlight at him. This is a bit much. Lee explains the holy symbol's potential.
Sure. Seems pretty simple. Seems like by calling upon one of the smaller, more simple words, you can just shed a bright light around yourself. If you call upon this constant pull of this thing's power, when you call upon that power, when you use that word rather, you can change that light into the golden light of the sun itself. Although doing so will drain this thing's magical reserves. You can instead change the word to speak a stronger one that sends a mote of this magic out towards a creature you can see. And if they fail their fortitude against that burning light, it blinds them for a considerable amount of time. Although it seems like creatures who are weak to the sun will have a hard time dealing with such a thing. And by pulling upon the strongest of the words, Astrum, it seems like you can call upon this light not just for one creature, but for a whole array of creatures, shedding a beam of sunlight across the world in front of you and trying to blind all those creatures who dare stand before you in the light of the sun god.
You'll actually need to hold on to this in order to channel this magic properly, though.
Well,
with your sword and
seems
shield
like
and
something for you, Luna, or
his
Persephone,
large blade. Exactly. And Persephone also has a shield.
or perhaps even Javen.
More of Andra unless
Soon.
It's alright.
yeah, whatever.
Were we to rest, or are we going to go find this bastard?
We might not have. I mean, like Persephone said, we might not have time. Do we? We don't even know.
The creature
I
said
guess we could
that
go back to.
the doctor was going to be waking up soon. If we try to rest now, he might just come after us. So it's better that we go find him first. Especially now that we have this.
We going back over that crack in the flow. That's
I
where he
bet
ran
that's
off to
what
last.
We might as well.
So we found him.
And we end it.
We just shine a light on him, and that's it.
Probably.
No, I think
I
it will
mean-
weaken him.
Jordan, I feel like you're talking, but I don't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Nick. You noticed. I said unless someone tries to stop me, I'm just holding it in my left hand at this point, and the scepter in my right.
No, I'm not gonna stop you. It could be very much a situation like on Stroma. It might not be easy, but if we're able to get him in range and if we use the magic properly and we succeed, that could be it.
Keep it in your pocket until we need have a chance to use it. So I don't want him like trying to grab it. and
Yeah, that's
taking it
a
away.
fair point.
That is smart.
So I'm just longingly looking back some 70 feet for Javen, now 100 feet towards Javen.
Oh, Javen.
Ah, that's
Where you going,
alright.
Javen?
I don't know where I'm going.
Follow us.
Yeah, it seems
Are
like
you
your
fine?
party headed off in the east direction.
Which east direction? This east direction? Oh, that's alright.
Right, no.
Chafin, here, let me know your hand.
God damn, how much has he got to
I
drink?
suplex.
Oh yeah,
I
you're blind,
suplex Luna.
aren't you?
Suplex real quick.
Yeah, you're blind. You don't have a light source.
And
You feel my light?
Can't
I
we
just
keep it
didn't
on
see
all
where
the
you
way
guys went. Everyone
on
instant
goggles.
transmissioned.
Okay. You guys head back into the room where Gregory charged ahead, fell down a hole, and you guys fought against looks like a living stalactite. Ooh. Did you see?
You see what?
I sort of
I heard
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out. Like Gregory was going in one spot, and I was going in the other, and we were just
Okay.
Y'all were just
Crisscrossing.
smacking together.
Yep. As you find yourself back at the
Mark
crevasse.
Bush.
Hey, Jev, you and I want to go first. Make sure we get everybody across.
I could probably fly Samantha and Luna over.
you can fly us over. All right.
Should you really be wasting
Alright.
magical prowess to do such a thing?
I don't usually fight as an animal. My magic is a lot stronger.
You didn't get a rest, right?
We did not.
We did not
Ah,
rest.
okay.
Not since you
Not
met
have
the
the time.
not since you met the priest.
I guess I'm first then. As I fucking charge forth. jump my happy ass across it. Hitting hard on the other side.
With your great strength, Greg, easily able to jump from one firm ledge to the other.
No, that's gonna be a bit dicey.
Alright. Come on, y'all. We'll just stand off the side a bit, but hold out a hand just to make sure.
As I can just barely reach there. I skip off at the last possible moment.
Sure. Getting close to the edge, but you're a quite well balanced character. Well balanced man. You get to the edge of the sloping step and you jump and you barely make it to where Gregory landed.
Grab onto a hand, haul him up.
Thank you.
Alright, I'll go run and jump too. See.
Hey, Jay, watch yourself.
Pushes
Oh
me back
shit,
down in the
Quill!
hole. Yep.
Okay. Quill, Javen, you see Quill jumping right at you. What do you do? Seems like he's trying to
I
take
kick
jump
him off
space.
into the abyss as punishment for not listening to Gregory.
This is Sparta.
When will you learn this lesson, old man?
You see Quill running towards you, jumping across the
When
crevice. He's jumping
Grandpa's
right to
fight.
where you are. What do you do, Quill? Or what do you do, Javen? You catch him?
Move out of the way. Oh, can
Okay,
I catch
you
him?
pull out of the
I'll
way.
catch him.
Sure, you sort of catch him, step out of the way, catch him, helping him land in that space. Like so he's trying to jump it the same way you can. He's a little stronger, able to get a little further, but yeah, not quite able to keep his footing on the edge until. But fortunately, you're there to help pull him back on.
As Persephone's body glows in like a faint green and pulses almost like a firefly as her shape shifts into that of a giant eagle, so I can fly y'all over.
What in the heck, Jay? Alright.
Birds, snakes.
You see a large eagle the size of a horse appear before you guys.
And I'm just standing there waiting for Luna and Samantha.
I don't know if it can carry us both, so if you want to go first, Samantha.
Just like sticks her sharp talons into your flesh, and
I try to climb up on
I don't do
top of Persephone. Bird
Okay, well,
Persephone.
seems like she's large enough to sort of kind of mount. She's not quite built like a horse. There's no real easy place to kind of wrap your wings around, so you get close to where the shoulders are kind of.
Oh god.
So crunchy!
That's about what the experience feels like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, this is awkward, I don't know where it's at.
Yeah. A little hard, but
Aw.
you can find yourself mount this thing. Yeah, the
I
ceilings in
wait
here
for
are
Samantha
only
to
about
go.
like 30 feet tall, so you can't get some huge distance up, but you can sort of flap over the hole. Yeah, easily enough, able to pull yourself over.
Eagles can glide.
Alright, I guess.
Alright, Luna, you last.
Yeah, as I whoosh. And with everyone safely across, I just go back to myself.
Nice.
So
You're
like
moving again.
I have like the beacon of the Lightbringer in like my left pocket and my scepter in my right. Do I feel anything from my scepter?
Not particularly.
Yeah, okay.
Slowly, like, inch my way into the room, trying to peer around the corner, trying to be quiet.
Sure, give me a stealth check.
I'm a disadvantage, boy. Yeah, 15.
Not too bad, yeah. Considering the caution now that you have, seems like the weapon, the item you need to take down this fucking guy. You know, you don't want him jumping out of the shadows at you. You want to be able to try to get the jump on him. So you very carefully pitter-patter your feet around this corner, look down inside. Through your goggles, fortunately, everything this dim shade of green around you. You can see a couple more stalactites sort of jutting out of the ground up closer to the ceiling, although they seem quite thin and fragile. It seems like you found another sort of atrium of sorts. There's like a pocket divot within the stonework to your left, and further down about 20 feet or so, look, there's a path to the right, path to the left. One of them seems to be a bit more shallow than the other, that one being the right side.
Let's make these stone things. They look small, though. I don't think they Hell, I don't know. So I just slowly try to approach this thing, just to make sure I don't see like weird pieces of flesh poking out from cracks of stone.
Careful, Gregory.
Sure. Give me an investigation check.
Good at these.
Yeah.
Everything's so green.
As it looks pretty jagged. You do see one spot sticking out that looks like sort of that cracked maw of that creature when it lurched out and whipped at you. But as you get closer, it just seems like it's another one. It's a stalactite. Maybe you'll probably notice it if it starts moving, that if it's a monster. But otherwise, seems pretty safe.
I think it's fine. I don't know.
I see something ahead. Some sort of table.
Table?
It's to the right.
As you get closer, Gregory and Quill, now you can see in that small, shallow divot to the eastern side, you see it looks like a desk of sorts, cluttered in items. It looks like candles now blown out. You can see it looks like bottles, decanters, and the main thing being, or the main three things being, it looks like a large, like a mechanical syringe, this small metal knife that seems to be stained with something dark, and a large book that has something almost grisly illustrated on its pages.
I think you said, as I am,
blood.
in that there is blood, yes, this way. We can always pore over his notes.
What?
To the left, Gregory. Can you not see?
Everything's
Definitely
green with
grab
these
the
damn
book.
things on. Yeah, I see it now. Hell.
Is that close enough? Can I? Yeah, I'm gonna try to botanical reach that book so I can just add it to my collection.
Just reach out with your thorn whip.
Boop. Yeah.
Okay, give me a sleight of hand check. Okay, with a bit of a whipping motion, whoosh, whip comes out through the air, snaps down, wraps around the book, and fortunately pull back to yourself, but maybe just caught off guard by trying to grab something small and gentle, maybe almost pulling more than the book towards you. But fortunately, you wrap around gently enough and carefully pull the book into your hand. The vine turns back into your fingers, and you're holding onto it. Looks like now that you're holding it close to your hands, you see it's like an anatomy book of sorts, but it's not human. It looks like beast. Specifically, the one it seems to be open to is like a dog, canine of sorts.
I wonder what he was doing with this as I tuck it away and continue with the group.
Okay. And Gregory, Samantha, Quill heading off towards the other direction. The first thing that hits you, besides just seeing the ground, the stonework now sort of being sprayed with spots of blood, is the air seems to be sort of stale and heavy with the scent of old and now stagnant blood.
It smells like death.
Looks like there's steps going down. No way. Hell.
Making your
Yes,
way
Jake.
inside.
Protect our rear. Yes, great.
Do we need more light?
Javen went back. Well, BRB, so.
I know. That's why I told him to come.
Nah,
over.
Javen's got the torch. He'll be here in a sec. There he is. Lighting our way.
As
Breaking
Damon starts to
the
walk up the light, sort of carrying a bit more detail. Some of you can see down the corner. Let's see, Samantha, Persephone, Greg. God, you guys are just really smashing into each other. Getting down these steps, these large, almost like not natural, but carved into the stonework steps. You can hear this soft, metallic rattle. And you can see, sort of slumped up against this pocket of stone, it looks like a hooded figure just pressed against the wall. You can only see parts of his body past the stonework, but he seems to be just hanging its head.
You see, like, Samantha's snakes almost kind of like adjusting, like leaning up against the wall, like trying to peer around corners and things, looking around for her. Looks like there's someone up, stuck to the wall. I think these might be as members of that Malar group.
Oh, hi.
Fuck.
I doubt it. As I look around at all the blood, I severely doubt it.
Guys walk in, getting closer. Your steps are pretty loud. None of you are really being quiet besides Gregory, it seems like. So as you start to walk in, you just see, pressed up against the wall, these emaciated figures, cloaked in this dark and now torn and bloodied robes. But as you guys get down the stairs, you can hear that soft rattle sort of shiver, and the heads just sort of careen up to you, Gregory. The first thing you see are a pair of golden eyes and sort of gray and silvered hair cast across the face. Look up to you, a soft, gaunt face, like torn from strength and all of its sort of fortitude, facing you. As it looks like though this man should be on the edge of death, he's still softly breathing and looking at you.
Hey, you alright there? You. Look, Sarah sent us. It's gonna be alright. Quill, rest of them.
I'm looking over this guy.
Sure. What are you looking over for?
See if he's there, right? Like, does he look like that lady in the cell, or does he look like he has his wits about him?
Give me an insight check. Ooh, yeah, you're looking at this man over. You've seen soldiers who have gone through some harsh obstacles, having faced some dire challenges in their life, especially through the dangers and trepidation of war. And this man looks like he's been through some hell of sorts. His eyes are sort of glassy, although they stare straight into you, and they're bright and piercing in their golden light. It seems like he's sort of just looking past you. He sort of like leans up again a little bit, and you can see wrapped around his neck is this bright, like, steel chain pressed into the flesh. He seems sort of let them and try to speak. Just his voice just seems to be like soft and rasp, as if he hasn't spoken in a long time, or he's spoken so much, maybe even howled so much that his vocal cords are just shredded. Just,
Hold on, fella. Let me get you the hell out of here. As I'm gonna try to reach the chain where it's attached to the wall. Try to take a handful of it, see if I can yank it out of the fucking wall.
Sure. Give me a straight strength check.
I'm gonna try to do the same. I'm gonna try to do this.
Yeah, both of you give me straight strength checks. It's kind of a little difficult, as these things, it's more just wedging your own power against this, hard stake in the stone. Yeah, Quill, you're trying to find a good place. You grab onto one of the stakes and start to pull, but this chain itself is quite strong. You pull and pull and pull, and it seems to be fixed in place. And it's when you do that, Quill, that you start to feel like, you could probably pull, steel or iron apart. This metal is tough. And as the light of Javen's torch starts to shine into the room, that steel becomes a bit more defined. You can see sort of a soft glitter coming off the metal. So you realize this isn't just steel. This might be mithril. And then behind you, as the stake comes loose from the wall next to Gregory, this creature sort of lurches forward for a bit and his claws start hitting the ground as he...
Yeah, I try to catch the guy, basically.
As he sort of lands in your arms.
Oh, well, now. Just sort of, go to the ground with him to get... So, sort of get his knees on the ground.
I would get those men out of here if you want them to live, Gregory.
As his hand keeps reaching up, grabbing at this manacle around his neck, as that steel seems to press into the flesh.
Shit.
Uno, can you unlock these?
You learn a place.
I can try. Do they have locks on them?
It looks like, yep, they seem like they have some sort of locking mechanism. They have like a small point where it looks like a key would go into.
Alright, I'm gonna go around the room and try and pick these locks.
Sure. Give me just a single lock picking check with dexterity. Ooh. As you take your key, you take your lock picking key, trying to go through each thing. It looks like the first thing you realize when you approach is the keys you use for these things seems like it's quite ornate in design. It's not as simple, straightforward as you'd expect. A little more challenging as you see this one doesn't quite work. Let's try the next one and try the next one. And after about a minute or two, you realize these things are a bit more complicated. Might be able to just simply brute force your way through them like you could the last locks. But you do notice as you're trying to go one by one that, these look like metal. Simple steel. Seems like it's a bit more as if they're like mithril.
I could probably pick the locks, but it's really difficult and probably would take quite a long time. It might be safer to do it after we deal with the doctor.
Speaking of which, I think... Samantha sort of just gestures off into the darkness. What am I looking at, God?
You go down, looks like you're finding another pathway through this opening in this, I guess you can call it a prison. The ground's covered in large puddles of dried blood with hay sort of stacked between them, and like a loose facsimile of what one might call comfort or hospitality for the prisoners. But at the end here, you see a large chest pressed up against the wall, maybe about like 10 feet wide, about 3 feet off the ground. Considerably large storing device that looks about as gray as the stonework around it.
Never mind, I thought it was a coffin, but I suppose it isn't. I guess it's a chest. That was a really big one. A really, really big one, actually.
You see
Just
the old
remember.
folks, but yeah, we'll try to find a key and get back to you as soon as we can, but
Well,
Which way did he go, then?
I don't know, but Persephone, perhaps you could whip that thing to make sure it doesn't come alive.
Yeah, it's Samantha, just move so I can get a better angle.
Doesn't whipping it also just like throw your like weird arm thing out? And when it sticks to it, if it's what was that coffin before?
I'm sorry, there was a little bit of interference. The fog is very thick, isn't it? Just say it again.
everybody's robots.
Yeah.
Robots.
Discord, why you gotta be like that?
Just
I'm just gonna take my javelin and throw it at it.
This pretty hate this today.
You're taking out a javelin and throwing it, Quill?
Yep.
Watch your weapons. Look throw it through the air. Goes flying down this narrow passageway and strikes into the. Looks at the top of now. It looks like a stone chest. As it hits the stone, cracks it a bit, and then the javelin falls to the ground. It looks like the spearhead's now bent a little bit. Looks like it's not going to be too viable a weapon anymore.
Oh, that's a hardy chest.
Well,
But at least it's not alive.
I'm just gonna try to pick up the chain that I wrenched out of the wall and help the guy to his feet and just sort of walk him over to his other buddies.
Sure.
Just get them together, make sure they're all okay.
In sort of a gruesome way, but with good intentions, you start walking the dog with his chain close
Jesus.
back to the wall. As he finds himself situated over here, so trying to pull at this thing, you can see as he pulls back up, you can see where some of the actual metal begins to slide across the neck. Like there's a little bit of leeway. You can see the flesh itself is actually just bright red, as if it's been burning.
Shit, just hold on a little long. Damn it, I'm sorry. Just a little long. Yo, come on, please.
I don't trust the floor. Do I
Okay.
see any floor?
Give me an investigation check.
This would be great.
Yep, you look down across the stonework. It just looks dirty. Looks like there's some pebbles and stonework scattered across, but nothing really indicating any signs of danger.
I'll step forward and try to open this chest. Sword
All right.
raised.
Reach down, sword in one hand. I guess you're putting away your shield then?
No,
Open up the
can I use the
Right.
shield like to just like the side of the
I mean,
shield?
you gotta open a chest. Gotta have a hand to do it.
Fine. I'll open the chest. I'll have my
You
sword
might get a
in my
third
scabbard.
I'd put away the sword.
I'll have my sword in my scabbard, and I will open the chest.
Yeah, you
Sure.
can at least draw the sword. It's an action. To put
Yeah,
the
reach
shield
down, you
on.
find a hatch on this thing, sort of trying to figure out how to open it, you realize it twists. And gloom. Little heavy as this thing again is made of, looks like solid stone as the lid lifts up. And inside you can see a whole collection of just, strangely enough, just looks like tokens and pieces. It looks like first thing you see is the glimmer of what looks like silver, then you realize it's not silver, it's very defined cut coins that you find at the place sort of scattered throughout this mass of items. It looks like a collection of about 250 platinum pieces, just sort of scattered amidst them.
Just gonna
But-
pull out my sword and kind of make sure.
Make sure.
We fight one
Just kinda-
mimic.
Just kind of,
Jostle
Well,
everything in
things
there.
around, jostle,
Well, what is it?
It's something that will make Jody quite pleased.
Coin.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
Ain't what we looking for, Quill.
I know.
They start moving things around inside the chest, looking for more objects. You see a collection, a bundle of things. It looks like just stuff that maybe a priest would have. It looks like this really nice like set of robes that it looks like they've been seeing some combat because you see there's blood stain on a part of it and a large rip along the side. But looks like it's made of like some really nice silk, probably sell for about like 150 gold if someone fixed it and cleaned it up. You can see like these like silver sensors at the silver pewter rather sensors at the bottom of this thing. Maybe each one like worth about like 25 gold, about 5 in total. But really, at the center of which is this large set of looks like equally glimmering, almost silver, but unmistakably to your eyes, Quill, mithril keys.
I found
what?
some keys. So I'm gonna grab the keys and I'm gonna toss them to Gregory.
Oh, thank you, gods.
As he runs off, I'm gonna start just kind of like scraping all the coins and things as quickly as I can.
Alright,
Pack.
Quill.
Gonna
Quill,
scurry
Quill.
next to Gregory and help him with
Okay.
unlocking.
We got you, buddy, we got you.
As you put the
I
key
toss
in
my
the
bag
lock.
of holding to.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
perfect. As I just start putting in the bag of holding.
Sure. You take your key, Gregory, and stick it in the lock. Sort of has a bit of a rough resistance, but then eventually you twist it, and then you hear the sort of like soft, like fleshy, not tearing, but like the sound like when you take off, like you're
Squelch.
peeling off some skin, essentially, as this
Yeah,
thing
I
unlocks.
click it open real fast, like, oh shit, I'm sorry. I'm
As you
gently
pull
trying to
off-
pull it away from his neck.
Yeah, as you realize the moment it comes off, it looks like this thing was burning him, as the skin just seems to be bright pink and seared to the point where you can even see some of the actual inner workings of the throat itself, seemingly having affected his ability to speak with this thing on. And as the lock drops away, you can see his hand immediately goes up to it.
First, I hand off a key to her as I put my hand up to his neck, as a bit of light starts to shine.
So I take the key and I unlock it around this other guy's neck.
Sure. Going one by one, you guys start unlocking each one. The first one you unlock, starting to catch his breath, sounding raspid and torn, until eventually, just after a few seconds, you can hear it sort of mellowing out, going from this like deep, like curdling rasp to like a soft rasp, and then eventually, yeah.
Yeah, each one I'm going to be giving just 2 health points for their necks, just trying to help them mend up their neck.
Sure.
Is it with all of them? All of their necks are hurt?
Oh, it looks like it's literally all of them have their throats basically burned into by these mithril chains.
Thank you. You. Where did you come from? Why are you here?
Like I said, Saracens.
Cyrus.
Pull back my shawl, I guess, to show my neck and the. We need to hunt this fucking monster.
Good. Good. There was one more of us,
One more.
but he is dead. But they took him. Does not matter.
Just putting the rest of the stuff from the chest in the bag. I'll join the rest of the group.
Here.
We killed him, but he turned to mess with someone, ran off. Do you know where this? Have you been in this place? You know where he might be.
We ventured in. We found him amidst this place, a great fountain. He toyed with us. Could not tear us with normal weapons. His hands could do little, but his knives carved us. But we know he resides deeper. We know he resides at the heart of this place, though we cannot see where he ventures. We've tasted his blood. We know his scent. We can hunt.
Good.
Move. I guess too.
As you can see, these men pull themselves forward, one by one, each individually walking. Until eventually, you can see one of them, their emaciated forms that step forward. You can see one of them reach down their hand to the ground, claws clawing against the sort of stonework mixed with bloodied hay. And as they do, you can see one of them in particular, sort of the one that you freed first, start to take in some of this dried blood, put it to his nose, sort of taste it, and then his hand starts to curl and clench.
Find this monster.
As one by one they start to wander down past you guys. You can see bits and pieces of their emaciated, torn bodies. Now it looks like what should be fresh wounds now healing into scars as they're making their way now free of their prison.
I almost just fall in line, just following right after them. Get out of here, purse!
No!
Kick her away!
Seems
Fuck
like
out of there!
Punt the child.
Seems like they're step by step making their way up the stairs, sniffing the air carefully. Where is he? It's all blood we smell now. Where is his? Find the scent again. Find it. And as they step about here, you can see two of them sort of twist in their forms until the robes seem to just fall away in tatters. And again, sort of similar to what you saw before, their silver hair, gray and silver rather, spreading across their bodies until they land on their hands and feet. And you can see them turn into wolves that hit the ground as they begin running down this corridor in their woven forms.
Hell. Chasing after.
Watch out for the
Ooh.
crevasse.
Yep, they make it about here till they stop.
Prison. But the gatekeeper is killed. Good.
As you seem like with tremendous strength, these wolves sort of getting their bearings immediately reel back and then jump off the ledge, hit the other side, and start sniffing around.
Back away we came, man.
This man here, even though he's not in a wolfen form beastly at all, he seems to step on the ledge. You can see his torn, ripped legs start to straighten a little bit, but then he kicks off with surprising amount of strength and then lands on the stonework below.
Wanna go for another ride?
Say, smile at Luna and Samantha.
Persephone, can you just like use your sword and whip to drag us
Hurry
across
up.
like you did?
Let's go, come on.
Okay.
Run as Javen leaves that space. I'm gonna jump.
Okay, both easily make it over the crevasse.
I don't know if my numbers would let me be able to go across.
Man,
Maybe if Gregory holds on to me.
Persephone, throw me your whip. I will drag you across.
Perfect. That's what I'm gonna do.
No, I said throw me the whip.
It's my hand!
No!
You should just grab my hand!
So just grab her hand.
The whip comes out, and you reach out and catch onto it.
As I pull as I like try to like yank and try to have it pull myself over with Quill acting
Your
as
magic,
an
your
anchor.
magic is a little stronger than that. It's not so much I'm just gonna like grapple myself and reel myself to the other side. It doesn't quite work like that. It seems like it's more you anchor yourself with magic. So it's more like you could extend your hand out and have Quill sort of pull your rope self across. But if you try to use the the reeling magic of your weapon or your spell,
I'd pull him.
You'd pull Quill, yeah.
Okay, Quill, so just pull me over, and then I'll just get
Right.
Luna and Samantha.
So I'll just
So
start
we got
pulling.
you. I'll help.
Me and Greg just start pulling.
As Persephone has to be an adult and resist the urge to wee, but she's kind of enjoying that. That was fun.
Alright, Purse, get Luna and Samantha, come on.
I got it.
I try to get both of them.
One at
One
a
at a
time?
time.
Yeah. there
Yeah,
you
one at a time. I only have one planned hand.
Just hold on to Purse as she grips them forward, or grips them across. I grab onto them, pull them up on it. Come on.
Okay. Yeah, one by one, keeping Persephone sort of level. Each hand catching on the Luna, pulling her, catching on the Samantha, making her way across. Thanks to strength, not often on the business end of the whip, considerably finding out how considerably strong her simple magic seems to be, just yanking you through the air and finding footing on the ground. As you guys begin making your way back through this dungeon, you can see both these woven creatures, this one sort of heading them, guiding them in directions, sniffing around the air.
We have it. But which direction? Ah, this room smells of blood.
As it seems like you said, get in here, start smelling all the spilled blood and still sort of staining some of the stone. You can see the wolves sort of shaking their head, just trying to get a new bearing, as it seems like this room sort of disorients them.
We went to the right, but there seems to be a big stone slab blocking the path. But we haven't gone through that door yet.
He's a dead end this way. We didn't know what it was.
seems like they're sort of at a crossroads trying to get a new scent. What do you guys want to do?
I'm gonna open this door.
All right, you go to the eastern side door, Quill, grab onto the handles, feel it sort of tug against your hand, realize you can turn the latches, and immediately pull as the door just seems to open wide.
You smell anything?
And the motions towards his allies who run to the room, sort of sniffing around the ground.
Scent. A scent. We have one.
Good.
As they start running ahead.
Let's go again.
As getting deeper into the room, some of you can see it looks like more branching pathways into the stonework. Although, with these wolves in your pack, it seems like they're starting to turn around.
Yeah.
As they run to the northern side.
Yeah. I can smell him through here.
Do this then. Come on.
All right. I'm gonna open the door with, I'm assuming, Greg's help.
Yeah. Throw this
All right.
motherfucker open.
As you grab onto the door handles.
The Lightbringer.
As you begin to pull, it seems it's sort of stuck for a moment before suddenly pulling and opening this door. You find another door facing you ahead of time. You can see like the ground beneath you seems becoming thicker with this black fog. And yeah, that's about all for you.
Hell.
I don't
Come on,
trust
Quill.
this door.
He says that. I took a look around.
Sure. Just kind of stick in your environment. Just seems like the wall, it seems like more room. It's just there's a door and another set of doors. These ones in front of you seem a bit thicker, sort of like the ones used to guard the room that held that fountain with all the blood pouring from it. It seems a bit larger. Seems like there was a mechanism attached to this one as well, but seems like it's been dismantled.
Hell. Well, we ain't gonna know till we try, Quill. Come on.
That's right. So I'm gonna open this door.
All right. Grabbing the doors this time again. Yeah, the mechanism to this door seems to be dismantled. Looks like there would have been not a chain, but like some sort of latch keeping it shut. But then you open it. And lastly, before you see one more object standing in your way. Bright, resplendent gold covered in the markings of chains. It looks like this door, all the chains that would be held up in front of it, all seem to be hanging slack now.
The chain door.
That's what that eyeball thing was talking about, right?
Yes, I think,
so.
hopefully, us removing that stone has disabled this. But be on guard.
Let's fucking end this thing.
Together. Open the door.
Hands on your weapon, hands on your sword, hands on this door, ready to push forward. You turn the latches. And the doors swing open, and the first thing that hits you in this room is a sound, that metallic droning and roiling across the walls. It's haunting, similar to a melody you heard when you first entered this place when Luna played a score upon her piano, although this one is not full of life, full of joy, full of mystery, full of, I guess, excitement. This one seems dire. It seems cold. It seems, for all intents and purposes, like a hollow song just playing and echoing across this stone cavern as the doors swing wide.
Where are you, you son of a bitch?
Don't trust
You
the
enter,
statues.
you can hear the sound echoing from the northern part of this chamber. Although your eyes can only carry so far, Gregory and Quill and Samantha, it seems like you can't see beyond the shadow, but beyond there you can hear the sound of an organ being played. And Luna, when you step through the door, you see a shape sitting upon the seat of a large and ornate-looking organ composed of, looks like, all sorts of different metals. His back is facing you now, and it seems like although you struck him down into literally nothing just over an hour ago, Here he is once more, defying the odds, defying death itself, hands pressing against the dark keys as Eric Gellner seems to be playing a song. The wolves behind you, you can hear this low growling.
That song.
As Gregory, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Back is just starting to hunch over as I'm. Looks like I'm almost stalking into the room.
You can hear, you can feel that boiling, but you're keeping your focus. You know you have the tool at hand to stop this man. You don't need to simply give in to rage. But nevertheless, you do feel this rumbling in the pit of, I guess, your mind of sorts, as you feel again that deep rolling growl that.
I'm just holding it back right at the very edge. I know that Luna wants to say her piece. That there's still things that probably have to be said, but at any fucking moment. God, I want to tear this fucker's throat.
Yep, and as you guys begin to approach the sound of these creatures entering the room without being quiet, you feel this pulse run through the room, almost like a pressure, as almost like not stops you in your tracks, but challenges you. As the music seems to come to a stall, sort of just echoing as Eric Gellner turns to face you.
And there you are, once again. Here to challenge me. Here to see my end. But you will not find it here. I ask you once more, my moonlight. I do not wish to cause you harm, take your life. I simply wish to start over, and to begin what we started once before. Do not make me do something I must strip from your mind. Do not make me show you an unkind face.
When he's looking at you, Luna, he has these sort of soft, somber eyes. It's like almost hopefulness.
I feel like I learned how to lie so well from you. You don't care about me. You just want my powers. And as sad as that makes me, you need to go. So I will pat Gregory on the back and kind of push him forward. There you go, Gregory. Second boy.
You hide in this darkness for too damn long. You'll feel the light of it all. Your time here is over. Your secret's laid bare.
I look over my shoulder at these other dog-formed creatures.
I'm starting to walk forward, and as they do, you can see they're growling. Their throats are still starting to recover as their mouths begin to fill with sharp teeth. Their eyes going from, it looks like a soft golden light to almost a darkened red. As they're walking closer, Eric just stops and looks down at the lot of you, keeping his eyes on you, Luna.
I see. I will have to change your mind then. Forgive me, sweetheart, for what you will see. I've tried to keep a calm face, a gentle face as a doctor should be. But I must show you something worse. But you will forget in time. I'll kill all your friends. I'll kill everyone here. I'll reduce them to nothing, and they will be nothing to you. You will need no reason to find them. Find those people you seek. We'll go back to where we once were. We'll be a family again.
As I need you guys to roll some...
Average. Persephone, what?
I'm faster now, guys.
There's our Javen.
Nice. Perfect. Hmm. Come on now.
As everyone runs to the restroom.
Everyone take a pee break.
Sometimes you need to pee, but sometimes you wanna hang out with people on Discord. Check out Lionhead Game in Discord!
Beautiful, baby. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can.
Everything can reach you.
They can get in they can get in through your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Or
the
they get you.
window to the soul.
I'll get you.
One way or another, Omen's gonna get you. He's gonna get you, get you.
So, this is when I turn against the party, right? This is what we're
Oh
talking about. Okay.
And you
no!
get him. As
So where's Graham? Is he over here? Maybe
We
as
can't see
Javen.
him.
Are we all back yet?
I'm back.
Dead.
Dead. As Javen, on the edge of your firelight, barely able to make out the semblance of this shadowy figure standing on top of the steps, you feel the room shift, sort of this presence change, and I guess the closest thing you'd say you could feel to a sense of security next to this vampire, as close as you could say next, is gone. The man that you pummeled into a pulp moments ago now looks at you all with still that soft demeanor on his face, but it seems now sort of broken. No longer kind, no longer hopeful. It is just steadfast and statuesque. Set to kill. What do you do?
That's kind of disturbing. I think I almost liked you. Sort of grumbles to himself as he reaches into his empty barrel. That's you gotta keep the stash, and pulls out as he starts walking towards him, very slow at first, a sort of jaunty tune to his step. Alright. No more blasting around. As he takes out this blue wine bottle, pops the cork, takes a small, big ol' gulp as he takes a charge of his dragon's bite as a bonus action.
Nice.
As I gotta make a con save. Alright. Woo!
Ooh.
Oh,
Good eye. Alright,
charge.
You got a 9.
As you take a charge of this drink, it shocks you immensely. Remember trying a sample of this before? You always wondered what actually made this thing so particularly potent, and as it does, it hits you. Oh, that's why, as you feel your feet moving quicker beneath your body, your reflexes are a bit quicker, able to run incredibly fast now, but you do find that you're a bit delirious in this moment as you are poisoned.
Oh, that's what I put it to hamper. Yeah, it's fine. I'm fast.
So,
As, sort of jauntily moving up at first, and then, with unparalleled speed, fueled by mysterious alcohol,
all right, Javen,
easily rushing him down.
give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, where do I make the deck save? Just in
Make
front
it
of him?
about here.
Alright. I would have thought I was trapped.
21?
As a 21 will do it, you take a step there, Javen, and your feet moving quicker beneath your feet, even in your delirious state, able to run across this ground, and as you do, you feel like the ground sort of shift beneath your feet, but don't even notice as you continue to run, as the ground just seems to give way, but your steps are so light, so careful, that it seems like you're basically just running on top of the falling stones with your graceful step, as this ground seems to just break beneath your feet. but you're able to run across it to the side just before it falls and knocks you down 30 feet.
It's over here.
Yeah, but, you basically just, I'm saying, because you got so good, where you at? There you're at. You basically make it about here. You just basically run across the stones as they're falling.
Get in his face. Other. Give him a big ol' bread-winning smile before and go to sleep.
Alright, give me an attack with disadvantage if you're poisoned.
Oh, why'd you make me turn off the poison? 15.
Alright, so making sure. As you swing your fist out of the sky, you can see he's turning to face you now, and the fist comes flying. It's actually quite quick and proficient in your strike, but as it does fly forward, his hand reaches up and with great impact catches your fist and stops it before he tosses it away.
Wait, stay still. You're moving all over the place. As I sort of get down and then try to knee him in the stomach. Ah. Oh.
So, as that knee comes up again, the hand just lowers itself, despite moving quite quickly in your sort of delirious state. Reaches down and catches the knee and just knocks it away as well.
Checked. Hang on. Alright. Yeah, seeing as how my attacks were sort of ineffective, but while he's sort of moving out of the way, I too am pretty unpredictable in my delirious state as I'm able to perhaps throw him off a bit, make him think I'm going one way as I break his fucking ankles, and I'm back here.
Okay.
Ankles get broke. As I test the waters right here. So,
alright, give me a dexterity saving throw.
Wow.
Yep. Fortunately, as you do step here, sort of just testing the waters, putting your foot down, you do feel the earth shift beneath your feet once more, and you're able to sort of pull yourself back forward where you are right now, and instead just manage to keep your footing right on top of here. As it seems like, before you, Gregory and Quill, the ground just seems to fall down to a single narrow sort of potential walkway. It seems like
some steps back and send myself flying with the power of drunken magics and just being a monk. As I go back to where I started. As that'll be my turn.
Alright.
I didn't even use all my movement.
Fancy
Jesus.
footwork.
Damn. You had like 80 movement.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I have 100. I have 110.
What?
Yep, when he drinks his tonic, this special drink that sends courses of electricity all throughout his body, his movement seems to be incredibly higher. Seems like it doubles his movement speed for the duration, although having succumbed to its alcoholic effects, it's sort of left him in a drunken state. And as you do, you see Eric sort of just push away his stool, his hands falling down by his side.
You couldn't just forget them, could you? Very well. I'll remove those who have corrupted your thoughts, who have made you forgotten what we had together.
As he takes a very slow and careful step down here, and then starts to walk closer to the wall. That's about as far as he makes it about here. Nice. And he puts his hand up against the wall, seeing his hands sort of pressed up against the stonework.
Ah. And I suppose I must dispatch of you in a most terrible way.
As he looks over at the group and his eyes, those soft red lights begin to suddenly just flash.
Time to wake up.
As next to you, Gregory,
What is this? What is this? What is this?
as their bodies just rip and turn, as you see them grow and stretch, and those golden lights transform into sickening red glows as these creatures next to you, one by one, take shape. And Quill, you're the first to recognize it in its form. You've seen men who can transform into wolves, these lycanthropes, but there is a specific form that some of these creatures take that is quite horrible. A perfect blend of beast and man that blends the flesh of a monster and a human. As 3 werewolves come to form, and you can see them looking down at their claws, the wounds around their necks starting to sizzle and pop. As they turn to face the rest of you, a glaze in their eye.
Again.
As Samantha, next to you, this creature just racking its claws against its head, starts swinging its claws through the air, and just turns to face you, just filled with this sort of confusion and anger. As a claw's gonna come at you.
Down, boy. Whoosh. As one of my snakes try to lash out at it.
Sure. Like I'm swinging you. Ooh, just swinging out wildly, but those teeth do try to sink into this creature's body. As I gotta do a con save.
Yeah.
Let's see, bah. Ooh, as this thing lashes out wildly, the things latch up along its neck, and it starts writhing a bit as it seems like it's no longer in control of its own form, just still sickened and wild in its state, as it is poison. Nice.
How unfortunate for you.
This creature's gonna try and slide and work its way up and around here, just trying to find a good place to strike. As Persephone, it seems like the allies you brought here have been twisted and become your enemies. What do you do?
Seeing them start to surround Samantha, the first thing I do is try to get her out of there. Can I do that there? I can do that there. As I reposition myself and use my botanic reach to try to grab onto Samantha and pull her out of the danger. I don't think, because Luna's in my way. That's awkward.
It's a little cover, even if Samantha's willing, it's a little hard to get her around. Yeah, a little hard to get her around Luna as the whip corner goes a little wild.
Yeah, so that wouldn't work. Well, right here might work. But I guess I already used my action. Alright, well that's it for me.
Okay. Okay. Let's see, where are you at, Persephone? Ooh, Persephone, with your sharpened ears pressing yourself against the wall, you can hear more of these sounds echoing throughout the room. These creatures growling and howling before you as they're forced into a horrible monstrous form. Eric Gelner quietly strolling across the ground after Javen's attack seemingly had no effect. Sort of around the corner, maybe to the left or right of you, maybe even further behind, you can hear the sound of something shifting, something dragging against the stonework.
We have something from the south.
As Samantha, you see these creatures, once your allies, now twisted into monsters around you and surrounding you. What do you do?
Samantha sort of looks around her at these creatures surrounding her, and then she just seems to sort of just channel the last of her magic into... Well, it's a shame, really, but I don't want to be here anymore. She just sort of gives a twirl of her scepter, and you can see just this shimmer of light course over her body, and then she's not there anymore.
Nice.
As she casts greater invisibility, and is just invisible, hoping that will be enough to allow her to give the slip to these creatures. She is going to try to reposition herself over here.
Sure. As these creatures see, sort of turning, the one that you struck out at still facing the other one, still trying to get a bearing of their surroundings. It seems like this one, as soon as it starts fixating you, starts smelling your direction, trying to get your scent, and then immediately as you step away, you see it still sniffing the air where you once left, as it's unaware of where exactly you are. Although its head starts turning around and maybe somewhat of your direction, as your steps are A little audible. Just can't see you. Okay, as Samantha, you're pulling yourself against the wall by these pillars. You see these large chains next to you. You really want to pull yourself through them. As you get closer, you notice they are similar to the ones you found in the other room, although they don't seem to be hung on any mechanisms. They're just strung across the wall like webs. If you think you can possibly move through them, they're going to be a little difficult terrain and might need an acrobatic check from you.
Do they seem like they're at like waist height?
They're like up and all. They're basically, the ceiling goes up to maybe about 50 feet, but they seem to be strung up along these pillars all along the way, sort of making like a sort of webbed, razored netting between these pillars and the wall.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Then, seeing that, I would expend more movement to slip here.
Okay.
Going around instead.
Sure. Anything else you want to do?
Nope. That's
All right.
Oh yeah, I'll use my bonus action to summon up my scales now that I have a moment to breathe.
Sure. Well, didn't use your scales during the vampire fight.
You're right. Yep.
Try summon your scales.
Yeah.
Scales don't come.
That's why I haven't used them in the last couple fights.
I can't
That's
see
right.
them.
I can't see.
Okay. All right. As your turn comes to an end, you can see Eric still running his hand along the wall, now scratching along. It looks like as his fingers sort of trace along the stonework, they start to carve these soft lines as if the tips of his nails were incredibly sharp, leaving this nice trail along it. That's all he does. What do you do, Greg?
Standing there, just hate in my eyes as this man starts to walk slowly towards me. I just feel that growling just growing louder and louder in my head as I seems to change as I turn to see where the new sound's coming from as these creatures start to transform, these horrible beings, and I snap out of it for a second. No, god damn it, no! Shit, no! And as I back up to one strikes out of Samantha and starts to position around her. The other one's still transforming. I try to grab onto its shoulder. God damn it. You. As my eyes just snap back to Eric. You son of a bitch. No one can be saved, is it? They're all doomed, is it? Everything you touch dies. Just make sure they're the last. As my vision just blurs, and I just tone everything else out. I give up on trying to save these people. I give up on trying to help my allies. As the anger just washes over me.
Ooh. And you feel it, that boiling in your blood, building like a growling beast. How do you respond to that, Gregory?
I just don't even fight it. You see my shoulders slump as my hand just rolls off the side of the furry arm of this creature as I just start to charge forward. As I take one large step, another kicking off of this archway as I just leap towards Eric Gelner. Son of a bitch!
As I'm gonna need an acrobatic check. As you're walking along a pretty narrow walkway of crumbling stone, you're using some strength to sort of kick yourself off, but it's gonna need a little bit of grace to really find a sweet spot. Unless you're just tossing yourself over.
I don't have any way of combating it, so I'm just trying to kick off as much as I can.
Okay.
Nope.
Ooh. As you're running, your force, your
There's the
strength
moment.
is carrying you to the middle of this crumbling stonework. Your foot hits the center, and then immediately the bricks slip and fall, as instead you find yourself standing here, sort of in the middle of this difficult terrain. Not falling, but sort of catching yourself. If you want to move out, it's going to cost you an extra 5 feet of movement. That's all.
Oh yeah. Is the rage taking over?
Oh, it's taken over.
Alright,
As you
yeah.
feel this boiling. You're actually raging then, so make sure.
Yeah, with that surge of energy, I am just charging forward with strange inhuman strength and speed as I am just charging, breaking the stonework as I kick off of it, as I am just charging towards this mother.
Gregory, you're running towards this man. You feel this singeing in your neck as you just let this thing wash over you, this heat, this boiling blood. And again, you feel that growling within you beginning to build louder and louder. And eventually, everything just goes red as the singeing in your neck, for maybe just a moment, maybe it's the pain you're feeling, maybe it's just the anger, still, giving up in this moment, it stops hurting. And you just, maybe it's just, what do you want to do right now, Gregory, more than anything?
As I'm charging towards this guy, all I want to do is fucking tear out his throat. Like a dog that wants to just sink his teeth into the throat of his prey. As my hand just turns into a clawed fist as I am just trying to tear his fucking throat out with my hand.
Going for an attack.
I am. Go for that arm strike.
Go for it.
As I just reach out and just try to grab and tear into this thing's throat, as I just almost lose myself in this inhuman nature of it all, almost forgetting that I have this gigantic blade in the other hand. As I just try to strike at him with rage, just throwing away defenses, just try to tear it.
Nice.
24 to hit.
24. That will connect as this clawing hand just racks across his body, ripping. Actually seems to tear into the clothing for a moment and strike across his strangely toughened body, because that will connect.
As I just tear across his skin. But does it actually affect his skin?
Seems like your fist's just striking against his body, although he is strangely tough, resilient for, a man who's taken so many blows from a sword, able to keep talking. It does seem to have a lasting effect, although, only minimal, as it hits his body. He sort of reacts for a moment, but doesn't seem to, take it too hard.
That strange necrotic energy seems to be soaking through my fingertips, even. It takes a little bit of that strange moon taking away to skin.
And it seems like a little bit starts to trickle up into his body, but again, he doesn't seem to be too phased by it. And Gregory, you're just pulling yourself forward, and you can feel something building in you, this beast trying to come out, but it's not quite fully developed yet. But it almost like as you're striking out, you feel like you can go more, and that pain finally subsides as you feel power pulling upon the mark of the beast that's stuck to your neck, as it seems to, having finally, in some way, shape, or form, accepted it, gains some deeper power. As you're no longer in a rage, Gregory. You're in a feral frenzy. While you are frenzying, you can use your bonus action to make a single weapon attack on each of your turns, although it seems to be draining something deeper inside of you.
Yeah, as I just scrape across his neck, as my hand falls to the side, I finally catch wind of myself just ever so slightly. As I grab my blade and just, like an animal, just bash it into the wall as it just scrapes across the stone, as I just try to carve into him, as I just strike out like a madman. The skill involved is sort of gone. I'm just swinging this thing with as much strength as I can possibly muster behind it, as I just swing as hard as I can, striking out twice.
Okay. You're swinging out your sword, you see his hand trying to raise up. Not that it looks like it's stopping you, but some shadowy magic begins to roll around it as he's trying to counter in his own way. Give me those attack rolls. Ooh.
16.
Ooh, as the magic finally courses across his body, similar to what you saw in the other room. It seems like his hand waves, he growls a soft word beneath his breath, and suddenly his body gets cloaked, as if this coat, this nice dapper outfit he's wearing is covered, and it looks like a long flowing, looks like a cloak, but then it becomes like a long cape that wraps around his form, this shadowy armor, similar to the spell that Luna casts, as it seems like with his spell castery. There you are, ha! Bah. It seems like you could see the actual sword catch into the material and not quite make it through.
As it just sort of catches in this, I just put my hand on the blade as blood starts to, it's like cuts into my gauntleted hand as blood starts to trickle down my wrist. I just try to shove the blade deeper into his body. As the last bonus action, I try to strike. 22.
Ooh, this time as you strike again. Well, actually, you strike down to his body. You strike down, just trying to push it into the shadow armor, and as it does, you can see his hands sort of grab onto the blade. The soft sizzling sound as his fingers touch the silver material. He just leans in to look at you.
Just a dirty beast. Just like the rest of them. Just to push you away.
I just sort of try to reconnect with my body as I seem to just be hunched over, just deeply breathing, trying to make sense of what the fuck is going on, but also my eyes just locked on this guy as my mind is just a swirl. And that.
All right, and as the blade gets pushed back into your, basically both your bodies are holding it, this hand suddenly comes flying out from within the shadow, as it seems like he's trying to strike you with his bare knuckle, similar to how you struck him, although less like a claw and more like a defined fist. 25.
It's got advantage.
That's true. 25.
Certainly hit.
As the fist comes crashing across your jaw, dealing 7 damage, although in your rage, it doesn't feel like much. All right. Comes down to you, Quill. You see Gregory just throw himself like a beast over to go attack this vampire, and it seems like the ground before you has been somewhat made a bit difficult to cross.
I'm gonna step here, and here, and then here as you just kind of see the shield whip around. I am the shield of Zamaria. You will not break my line. As I am gonna go into my defensive fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna swing out at the poisoned one.
Nice.
Do I have advantage? Do I have advantage if he's poisoned?
Nope. He just has problems hitting you. Ooh, as that will connect, just swinging your sword, cashing across this thing's flesh, it's exposed flesh. It seems like it's, you've seen these things take hits before, not in this form. They're considerably tough, but your sword just glides through it like butter. Rip it into his body.
Swing again.
Nice. Ooh, this strike also cutting in deeper, ripping deeper into this thing's flesh, just tearing into this guy.
Double max damage.
Yeah. They're all linked. 1 second. Do-do-do-do. There you at. Has anything else you want to do, my friend?
Nope, I'm holding the line.
All right, good stuff. As up by you again, Gregory, this creature standing before you, his fist comes flying at you again. Another strike trying to clock you across the jaw. This time, actually, he's got advantage because you threw yourself into him. Ooh, 19. The one crashing across the other side of your jaw, looks like he's trying to weather you down bit by bit. Another 7 damage, buffeted by your rage.
Barely jolting to the side as these hits. I'm just trying to collect myself.
Okay. As Luna, finally, it seems like battle is popping off. You're really the only one with a good vision of everything going on here. You can see these creatures who were once going to fight with you, now seemingly turning against you. It seems like Gregory is facing off against Eric himself, but his attacks don't seem to be doing too much. And it sounds like there's enemies coming from the south that you can't see.
Luna's going to take in a deep breath as just these black veins seem to appear on her neck and her arms, as I will turn a 3rd level spell slot into some sorcery points.
Nice.
And I will back up away from these guys and just try to take a gander of what's happening, as I will throw a firebolt at that creature.
Nice. Ooh, as you throw your firebolt, it seems like this creature, wounded from Quill's strikes and poisoned by Samantha's magic, it seems like it left itself just open enough to where it starts to level itself back ready to attack. Your firebolt buffets into its body.
Because it hits.
It hits? Double hit? Ooh! How do you want to kill this thing?
Damn.
That part creature. As the fire just wraps around it, it'll burn its neck where the previous injury.
Sure. Firebolt just flies into its neck, hits into the boiling blood. You can see it open its mouth to yell out in pain, but inside is just a mote of fire, bright white, filling it before it just sort of crumbles to the ground and dies.
I feel kind of bad, but not really, as that'll be my turn.
Alrighty. This creature here, finally getting a bearing of its surroundings, looks up at you, Quill, as it just tries to throw itself at you with its claws. 10. Just scraping across the metal. Yeah.
Things off it.
Just scraping across the metal of your shield, and as it does, the claws sort of take hold of it for just a moment as it tries to reel over and basically bite at you. Although you see its teeth are glistening with, looks like saliva and blood and a mix of other sort of disgusting materials as it tries to chomp you. Ooh, but not
put
quite
on my
making
blade as it just like stops his teeth from coming in.
chomping on your metal. Not quite making a good spot as it starts to veer around you, taking a step here.
Oop, I'm gonna smack him.
Ooh, twisting that sword and striking down at him. Yeah, that'll connect. As you cut across his body using your defensive style, frontline fighting style rather, to sort of take advantage of its movement to strike down at it. Ooh, doing a good amount of damage. Although its movement isn't slowed at all because it's not opportunity attack. But it can use the veer around here, get to the other side of you.
Oh, then I can attack him again. Can I?
Use your reaction, basically. Your frontline fighting style is you don't use your reactions for opportunity attacks, but a creature moving within 5 feet of you is an opportunity. Not
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Okay.
So what, his movement go to 0 if it's an
Yeah.
opportunity?
Only if it was the attack you're making is not an opportunity attack. That's the thing. It's just, hey, if a creature moves within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to punch it, strike it. It's not an opportunity attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the one condition.
Yep.
This creature's turn comes to an end. Finally, stepping down from the wall, moving his hand away from it, the magic now coursing around him as this great cloak, Gregory. Eric Gelner steps in front of you, hand extended out, immediately reaching out, trying to catch onto your neck. He's gonna try and grapple you with it. Yeah, ooh. And immediately breaking through your defenses, having sort of knocked away your senses, end up catching you by the throat.
Do not belong in this world. Not in the world I'm trying to make.
As he takes a step forward with you again. Strangely, despite being so lithe, he seems to lift you up off the ground enough to where your feet sort of dangle a little bit as he walks you over here closer and closer. He gets to the edge.
You all deserve to fall.
As he lets go,
Oh!
you suddenly fall down 30 feet. Give me a dexterity saving throw. Assuming you're not just gonna fall willingly. And you can see the nice as you're falling down, your hands actually catch onto the ledge of this cliff. You're sort of one on the sword, the other one on the ledge, keeping yourself up as your reflexes are quick enough to keep you on there. Nice. Although technically, by hanging from the thing, you are considered prone. And as he looks down at you on the ground, you can see him lift his foot up and just try to stomp it down onto your fingers, trying to remove your grasp. With as he starts stepping down on the beast. 23.
Ooh.
That'll
Stomp
hit.
it down your fingers onto the hand, doing 10 bludgeoning damage. As let's see, that'd be. Give me a straight con check.
That con check.
Ooh. Poor Gregory.
Well,
Yep, as your hands just trying to withstand your hold on the side of this pit. You're holding on as tight as you can, but the moment that foot stomps down, that wild beast of a roar lets out, and your hand loses a bit of its fortitude, and you slip and fall. As you hit the ground considerably hard, taking 12 bludgeoning damage, although your anger helps soften the blow. You are 30 feet down in a pit. As he makes his way closer to here, and then steps in the middle.
That's one down. On to the next.
As he looks onto the rest of the group, now his expression hardening into something of anger. As this creature here, Quill, still keeping its focus on you as you made yourself sort of a target, gonna be trying to swing his claws down at you and trying to bite you. Claws coming at you. 15. Nope. Bashing against the shield. Teeth trying to bite you. Well,
The shield
from
is
the
just
sword.
able to buffet him away both times.
Keeping your firm stance as a defender and a protector of your allies. That is its turn. Javen, you come back from your buffet against Eric Gelner, but it seems like he's quite quick in his movements, able to strike out at sudden speed to take down Gregory after just mere seconds of him approaching him. And now it seems like your allies are surrounded by these beasts. What do you do, my friend?
Oh, shit. 10%, you okay? Alright, you're still alive.
About to say, as Eric basically drops to the ground, some of the wounds he took from your strikes begin to very carefully mold back up his face, and it seems like he's almost pristine again. Go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, sort of looking over, but then acutely aware that I'm basically showing my back to a dog man. Quickly turning around and jabbing him in the face. At disadvantage, because you're sort of spinning everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
As that will
damn, about time.
How do you want to crit him?
Yeah, turning around real fast, acutely aware, seeing the wounds come back. And you see Javen sort of shiver a bit at the anticipation as he ducks down real low and then gets a really cheap shot on this still humanoid man.
Nice. I just catch across the face. Ah! Sort of whimpers like a dog as you hit him.
Right in the gonads. Sorry, man. But, so I take a step back, and I don't really have 10 feet. It's fine. I'm fast. I'm super fast.
I'm so fast.
Oh yeah. I am speed. I jump next to Eric.
Ooh, as you're stepping next to this other creature, getting next to Quill and this thing sees you approaching immediately. A claw's gonna try and catch you at the side.
Ooh, I can do something.
Ooh.
Finger guns.
Tries to swing a claw at you. But you already used your reaction.
Oh.
Aw, yeah, that hits.
Yep.
Yep, as a claw comes scraping across your back as you run, Javen taking 6 slashing damage. Not too deep into your scales, but still enough to sting.
That's gotta sting. Yeah, 6 and a half.
But you do make it across the pit.
I'm still a bit drunk, but the fury of not really able to hit Eric Gelner, but you know, we're gonna try.
Sure.
Alright, so still.
As he turns to face you, what on earth are you? Catching with another cheap shot. As the 26 will connect.
Smacks him in the nose. As I sort of drawing from this well in my stomach, and this time, I know this guy's dangerous. He literally picked up Gregory. Gregory picked him up, walked over to the pit, and then dropped him. He's just channeling all that ki into his punch, right into his stupid skull, as I'm gonna semi check him.
Alright, give me the damage first.
Damage.
Nice. As you strike him again, it seems like he almost returns to that same state at which looks like Gregory had knocked him in before. But then that ki ripples through his body as he seems to try and react to it. Let's see. Ooh, but this time you see you strike him in the skull. Last time you were able to rattle him. He just didn't seem to put up any fight, but now his head just sort of turns into the blow after you strike him. That cheap shot catching his attention as now he stares you down. Not, shaking in stupor, but now it's like he's got all of your focus. You have all of his focus now.
Father, as I sort of angle myself over here and try to kick him forward into the pit, as I'm trying to shove him. And into the pit.
If you used your first attack to punch the werewolf and then your bonus action to punch him, then you could use your second attack to push him. That'd be fine. Order of operation.
Fuck you, Jared Crawford.
So you can try. You can try and push him.
I channeled the power of the Chaos Gods. Alright, they're on.
That's
Deception.
Oh, yeah, it's deception.
It
Ha!
was a feint!
Okay, no, never mind.
Sam,
The
let's
Chaos
see.
Gods are not on my side.
Fucking say.
Let's see. Ooh, catching him off guard. He turns to
I
face
channel
you.
the power of the Chaos Gods.
Okay. As you push him over the edge, you see him immediately surprised as you suddenly throw your force at him at great speed, and he topples over the edge, and then... Gregory, you see a strange sight above you. You see his body sort of hanging like it's about to fall. Like his body's about to fall like straight on top of yours, but he seems to be standing, his feet stuck to the wall itself, his back facing you, as if he were like laying flat in the air with his feet flat on the wall, as if he were sort of walking on the very edge.
Oh, come on, that's cheating. Never one of those stupid magic.
Fucking airwalk.
Yeah,
Is
I
that what
know.
you do? Is that your turn?
As I realize his game here and... Emerson! Here's something! As, oh no, I left my torch behind.
I gotta go back for a
I was realizing the oh no. Yep, heading back to the group, sort of trying to make a line-ish with Quill.
Okay.
That will be my turn. Just back.
Alright, you see up above you, Gregory, you see Eric Gelner with his feet stuck to the wall, sort of hanging like parallel with the ground, strangely enough, in a weird, almost impossible way. You just hear him sort of just sigh. A trickster among them. Fine. As he quickly starts to walk along the actual loose stone of the wall until he gets to this other side. Basically, like if the pit's like a giant pit, he's walking along the wall like this, like he's standing on the very edge. Then he turns, starts walking this way, gets to the edge, and then literally walks up, like sitting himself up along the edge. And makes himself about here. As comes down to this creature is dead. Persephone. It seems like Luna was able to blast one of these other looks like the werewolves to death. Seems like Gregory's been dropped into a pit, and now Eric Gelner has crossed over from that pit, walking towards the rest of you guys.
Yeah, seeing Eric effortlessly maneuver Gregory around and drop him and walk out of the pit himself, she's going to grasp onto her crystal and extend it towards him as a flower blooms on the other side. Fire Dancer bringing, I guess it still brings light, a little bit of light, and I'm going to use my bonus action to have her jump over the pit to this ledge here and strike him.
Nice. On. You have a thing. There we are. Boom. What is it? 30 feet of light. Just make it beautiful. 20 feet. How much light you cast? Tell me in my brain. I can't read that. 20. Got it.
Torch, yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. I want to just really quickly, as this fire dancer appears, very, very carefully, very steadily walking along the sort of catwalk of stone until it gets to him and then crashes into his body. He's got to make a save and throw. Ooh, as the fire comes crashing into his back. Ooh. Hits him in the back. You can see he suddenly turns, and it's sort of a catch onto his the back of his clothing that starts to burn. But then immediately, with that turn, swift and speed, it starts putting some of the fire out. As he still takes the hit quite considerably, but seems like he's quick enough to pull himself away from it at the last second.
All right,
Making his
that's
save.
gonna be my turn.
All right. All right. As this creature sees the fire behind him, looks forward, and then in that quick speed, turns and comes up to you, Javen, stepping up close to you. I believe I have words with you. As finally, down south Samantha, in your invisible form, unable to be seen, looking around trying to find the next vantage point, you hear... as finally, the stone seems to shift down south, and you can see, hanging up the walls, not really to anyone's attention, it looks like these large coffins pressed up against the wall finally open, and these creatures start spilling out onto all fours. These familiar look, very familiar. You see across their bodies torn scars on their flesh, They look like women, although their wounds have since healed when you last saw them. This one turns its head up towards you, and you can see in its face where the eye sockets should be are these deep, destroyed pits with soft red embers. As you now, although it doesn't quite face you, it seems to be looking up. This is the woman that you killed by firing Eldritch Blasts into its face. As it starts to make its way forward. Coming around the corner, finally throwing itself forward. You! As the eyes turn onto you, Persephone.
Uh-oh.
As this creature's gonna try and swing its claws at you. Ooh,
Oh,
22.
yeah.
First one catches onto you, the claws dig into your armor and hold onto you tight. The other one reaches out, tries to catch onto your chest as if trying to put the claws through your actual armor and hurt you. Ooh, but this one catches into the armor, not able to get through, but you are currently grappled. Where you at? Haha. Alright. It holds onto you. Down here, that still stone sound resounds once more as this creature starts to pull itself up and along. Pulling us about here. That's about as far as it can make as it seems to be surveying you guys. This one, it looks like its throat has been torn open, but now a new layer of scarred tissue covers it as if it had been recovered. As far as it makes it, as Invisible Samantha.
I think they're angry!
How long have we been in here?
In total?
Yeah, in total. What time did we come in and how long have we been in here?
Time-wise, it was about like noonish. And so you guys have been here for at least just over 2 hours or so, considering your rest, your travel, and it seems like the time it's taken since you've last fought him and did your exploring. So about 2 hours, so probably like maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Here. And just reaching into her invisible pocket, grabbing a hold of the beacon of the Lightbringer, and pulling it out. Igni, as I will use an extra charge and make it daylight.
Alright, as suddenly you hear this voice next to you, Luna, just next to you, Javen, and just a bit far away from you, Quill and Persephone, as suddenly just the light seems to emanate out of seemingly nowhere. As, yeah. Let me get this real quick. This soft golden light just seems to fill the entire room, as it seems like the single glowing point floating in midair releases this cascade of light, and immediately you can see Eric Gelner standing before you, looking like determined to strike you down, Javen. Light cast across his face, and immediately that sort of calm demeanor he's had this whole time, it literally shatters as his skin seems to dry like dried like a pastel, like partridge, cracking across his face. No! As the partridge tears away in pieces, his hair falls from his body, his skin, immaculate, becomes dark and gray, and you can see no longer standing before you is the man you know, Luna. You see the monster that you can only call the Lord of Night, as the light casts away what seems to be an illusory disguise, revealing the monster within. These long, bat-like ears, an elongated head, similar to the statue you saw holding the vial of what seemed to be your blood, a mouth filled with jagged, sharp teeth. And now this nice, dapper outfit he wore spreads out like flesh upon his body to become this long, twisted cape.
What is this? What is this?
You think you know loss? You know nothing about losing something! As Samantha just marches up on him and starts trying to just point the sunlight into his face. As that is my action. Yeah, that is just what I do. Just trying to pour that light into his face.
As this hand is trying to cover himself, as you get closer and closer, you can see his actual skin as the layer of a disguise falls away. The light just seems to be burning him. This hand just reaches out through the dark, through this cascade of light, just trying to grasp out at this source of light in front of it. As with disadvantage, he's going to try and just strike out at you. Ooh, just reaching through the air, catching nothing. All I can do. Gregory at the bottom of a hole. You see this creature almost get knocked down on top of you, like prey into the pit. But seems like he's able to catch onto the ledge with his own feet and walk along it.
Yeah, I just crunch onto my back as I see this creature start to fall, and then just casually walk away. God, the hell back here! It's like I start to feel the fatigue wash over me, although there's just this urge to chase after him. As I start to crawl back to my feet, fucking shit! As I hear a little tink in my backpack. As I reach in and pull out a potion, as I am going to drink this motherfucker, thinking that I know that there was a potion we got a bit ago that gave strength. Ooh. And fuck, I need my strength back right now. I don't know what it's gonna do, but I need strength!
This is interesting. Okay.
So I'm gonna drink my strength question mark potion.
As Gregory, you pull up this bottle filled with, looks like this sort of amber liquid with soft, like, almost red, like, fibers floating within, along with a few other weird, strange parts. You take it and you chug it down, and it sort of burns going down. Everything in this has been burning. Your blood, your anger, everything's been boiling up, and just frankly, Gregory, you're getting sick and fucking tired of it. As your body starts to press up against the stonework itself within this hole, your body actually stretching and growing in size. Your skin, Gregory, turning dark, almost black and gray. And unbeknownst to you, maybe on the knuckles of your hands, the hairs, no longer dark brown, becoming this deep red and roiling like fire. As Gregory, for the duration, not only are you large in size, but your strength becomes 25.
As I get to my feet and just imbibe this, as I take a step forward, I can just feel the strength just overwhelming my body. You can just hear this coming from the hole as I just reach up and just slam my hand into the stonework as I start to crawl myself out of here. Now that I'm like twice as tall, so I'm
You're twice as tall.
Oh my god!
So
basically, your head comes about
tall or so.
Yeah, basically. Your head basically comes about halfway through this pit.
As I claw myself out of this pit, probably needing a dash to do so, as I just push my hand through this ball of flame and slam it onto the side as I haul myself up. As I am just a ball of fury, but that is my turn.
Yeah.
Bonus action to drink that potion.
The valiant vanguard watches as after Gregory falls into the hole, there's this loud roar as these massive dark-skinned hands pull itself out, and you see Gregory, beard and hair almost lit on fire, roiling in this bright red color, accented by the fire dancer right next to him, pulling himself up and just ripping himself out of this hole. It even seems the sword in your hand, although somewhat grew in size, a bit too small, not enough to really add too much, but your strength, your size itself can drive it forward. As I will need a dexterity saving throw. But you can see it.
I get burnt! Get burnt up! They have a purse!
Yeah, I think you do.
Okay.
Oh, that should be at
it should be a little higher.
Yeah, it should be at 3rd level. Here, let me just...
But you take damage and maintain your rage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm stuck in rage anyways. 10 damage.
Nice. As you take 10, since the fire is burning you, but it's helping boil your blood, some of your hair starts to catch a little bit and actually accent the flames roiling around you.
That's
All right. All right, as this creature seems to be preoccupied with Samantha Quill, it seems like this boiling light and Samantha's voice just seems to emanate next to you, and it just rips away the disguise of Eric Gelner. What do you do?
I'm gonna attack that werewolf.
Okay. Strike down at the werewolf, cutting him down while it seems like at this moment, as all these things are happening, the werewolf's eyes turn to face the giant now entering into the room. But as they do, it's just enough distraction for your blade to slip through and cut its body. That will take damage.
Swing again.
All right, as that will also connect. You're doing some good damage on these attacks. As this thing cuts into its body, ripping up its body and turning it into it even more, as it starts to hold at its throat and turn back to face you now.
As I will. Use my front line. Fighting style is my bonus action. That'll be my turn.
Nice. Okay. 1 second. Nice. Maintaining your defensive position. As Luna, you can see now the man that you basically raised you all your life. The one thing that maybe there is a person hidden in there, just a monstrous, just a monstrous kind of person. Now you see, in truth, he's nothing but he's not a man. He is a foul, twisted creature. One could only call a Lord of Night. And also, Gregory's a giant now. What do you do?
Ignoring the giant Gregory, Luna just kind of sighs and says, "Even your appearance was falsified. I can't say I'm not a little bit disappointed. I thought maybe there was a way to redeem you, but clearly not. But you want to be so scary. You want to put fear into the hearts of my allies. But you need to understand that while we share the same abilities, I'm better at it. Always was. Always will be. And you will fear me. As from the roots of my hair just starts turning black, and as it gets to the end of my hair, it starts going down more as it almost looks like she turns back into like the old Luna, but the hair keeps going and going until it reaches the ground and pools onto the floor like this strange black liquid as I will cast Shadow World.
Falling upon the depths of power restored to Luna the moment she shattered that vial of blood. Part of her returned, and with her new acquired abilities over these years, it seems that it resonated with her and granted her just a mote of greater power. As the area fills with these dark tendrils, her hair extending out and just corrupting everything. You can see Eric, even amidst the light spreading around from the center where the invisible Samantha stands, looks down and sees these creeping shadows.
No, they are mine to command. Send them back.
That's what do? You scaring him?
As also the Shadow World emits from her, from behind him, just this clawed hand grabs his ankles and starts pulling itself up from him. As I will also, as a bonus action, bring out my hound.
Ooh.
There's too many things we have here.
Holy moly. Oh god! Why is it yellow?
So many.
Why does it have an aura?
Why doesn't it have an aura, really, is the question.
What has an aura? Hold on. Why is it? What?
He broke.
But it doesn't. It shouldn't have it.
That's weird. Nope, that's not. That's weird. Light. What?
It looks like it's on Samantha.
Oh,
Oh,
you
it's
put on your
so-
aura for the.
Take off your dirty aura. Take it off. We don't need it. As sorry about that. As creeping up from behind, that knight catches onto this creature, rising up around him. As yeah, nice. Are you using the power of your Shadow World as your Wolfen Knight rises behind Eric Gelner? Because when you cast a spell, you get to use one of the things.
Yeah, so it won't probably have a disadvantage since I summoned the hound after, but yeah, I'm gonna make everything that is not an ally frightened with me.
Frightened of you, nice. As suddenly this wash of darkness roils over him as Eric is trying to fight the light and the darkness surrounding him. He's got to make a save at disadvantage. Ooh. As this magic starts to coil over him. No,
They're mine. They're mine.
As he seems to shake his head and the darkness retracts from taking him. But all the other creatures around this place gotta make some saves, baby. 16. 17. Alright, you get it there. 4 and 8. As it seems like one of these werewolves, the one that got cut by Quill, is a bit distracted, even though the shadows roil around it, its blood spilling across the ground. It seems like it's still got a task to do with the rest of these creatures surrounding you as the darkness spreads, almost surrounding, encapsulating the light shining from Samantha, are immediately turned towards you, the source of this power, and they begin shaking. You can see them breathe out, and sort of like a soft black fog comes from their breath as they are all frightened of you.
Has already been turn.
All right. Come on. There we are. All right, this creature, not harried by, it seems like your magic, just turns and tries to dig its claw down on top of you, Luna, just trying to cut you down. Yeah, claw and a bite coming at you. 9, swooping through the air, unable to reach the bite. 22. As the teeth.
That'll hit.
Okay. As the teeth sink into your body, you can feel suddenly this sudden sharp pain and this sort of hot boil running through you. As I'm gonna need a Constitution saving throw. Ooh, but fortunately the shadow pushes it away, and you're able to maintain your composure.
Wait, can't really figure this out that?
Nope, unfortunately not. As it comes down to this creature's turn, as the light casts over his body. You can see now as he pulls away from his strike at Samantha, cracks formed in his flesh that begin to glow softly, and they do not seem to heal. As it seems like not only is he taking a considerable amount of extra damage, but it also seems, where we are, there we are, that he cannot heal. Nice. Bring both of you people. There we are. As you hear something pull itself back.
Light, wielding darkness and light against me. You have been naughty, Luna. But you can get whatever you first.
As he reaches out, and you see his claws actually dig into the shadows surrounding him, and he pulls them onto his body as it seems like his form begins to get encapsulated by some of the darkness and compress around him until his form becomes sort of just this shadowy, misty blob. You can see him, but you can't really make out his features, and the light around him even seems to start dimming ever so slightly, as it seems like he's using magic, curling it with his hands, chanting with his breath, and eventually it seems like he just becomes this well of darkness on his person as he seems to cast a spell that you recognize immediately, Luna, surrounding himself in dangerous, lashing shadows. Let's do that. As he drags himself forward, pulling both in his skin up. There we go. Try to pull himself away from this light and try to find some shelter from it. Dragging.
Does the shadow world turn stuff to dim light?
I
don't believe so.
Still see him.
Nope, you can still see. Well, that's the thing. He's technically obscured, so no. Heavily obscured from others.
Wait. So
That's the thing of Shadow of Moyle, is you become this big old ball of shadow. You are heavily obscured from others.
Oh,
Weird
I see.
how the spell works. Mhm.
He's still in dim light, but we still just can't quite tell where it's okay.
Yeah, like basically he's like this big old ball of shadow pulling itself away as you ready yourself to strike, but he continues to move, just trying to get himself away from here. You can see himself getting about here or so before eventually just looks like he just walks along the edge of this cliff, getting about here, just trying to find a place away from this darkness to move, as his body's still surrounded by this moiling shadow. That's all he can do.
Curse this light.
As you are frightened, unable to move around, you can see this creature putting itself against the wall, but there's these spiked chains behind it, unable to move. Instead, it just lashes out. Well, actually, does it do anything on this turn? Is it weird? Frightened? Okay.
Yep, just right.
Just wildly lashing out, a claw going out at you, Quill, and a teeth just going at this large man accosting to the side. As this guy's gonna try at Quill first. This guy right here.
That
Log on to
disadvantage.
you. Yeah, disadvantage. Uh huh. Come on, da. Swat. Ooh, just wildly
Swipes across the
scraping.
shield.
Just giving a lot of good scars to that shield. And then immediately just sees this large man pulling himself next to him, just reaches out, tries to bite onto you, but just wildly and frantically. 15.
Not
You,
quite.
Gregory.
Just bites into my shin guard that's gigantic now.
Mm-hmm. That's all he can do. Let's see.
Kick him off.
And this creature's turn comes to an end. This seems like Eric Gelner is still on the move, pulling himself up and away over here, trying to see if he can get some shade behind this large man, casting a shadow behind him. And you can see as he does, some of the light starts to fade a little bit. And this moiled shadow begins to boil, and basically it's almost like watching a giant ball of darkness roll around across the ground. As Javen comes to you.
Yeah, so as he cast the spell and he was like in my vicinity, I couldn't really see him. It's just
Basically,
dark.
like, you can see this big mass of darkness filling his space. You're not really sure where to. If you try to strike at him, there's no real, point to find. If you try to strike at the center, you don't really know how deep it is. So the weird way the spell works. He is just heavily obscured.
I can still see the giant just black ball in.
Oh yeah, you
Alright.
see this giant black ball that's literally sucking up and dimming the light around him.
I'll stay in hot pursuit. It's like from 10 feet of him, right?
Yes.
So like
do
around
that.
here-ish.
Don't do that. Ooh. You just see this, looks like where the bright light of the sunlight's cast around him is starting to get swallowed up. Still shining golden, but dimmer now. And at the center, which is this roiling black ball of shadow.
Guess I'll have to punch my way. Just starts swinging into the darkness, not really starting from here, not really knowing where to hit or miss. So he uses attack, swing in front of him, over here, swing in front of him, over here, swing in front
So
of
you
him.
can still see in this area. The whole
I
room
can?
is filled with light. It's just dim light. It's at the center of it's like a core of darkness.
Alright, we're gonna swing at the core of darkness.
All right.
Oh,
give me this attack.
well, is it gonna work?
Although still sort of a drunken state, swinging out wildly.
Ugh. Brother!
Ooh. As you do, just swinging your fist into here, you suddenly feel connection as you strike something solid.
Boy.
And as you do, you feel this sudden chill running up your arm as you pull away. You hit hard. It's like you're able to actually strike him and land a lasting blow on his body. But as you pull away, you can see some of the shadow actually clings to you and starts draining away at the strength and light in your hand. As where are you at? Come on. Yeah. Seems like the magic of this thing protecting him manages to deal a little extra damage to you, dealing 7 necrotic damage. But let's see. Aha. Ooh. Still keep his magic.
We'll try again one more time.
Alright, does that also connect in the darkness? Poof, striking true. Ooh, doing a heavier amount of damage this time. Nice. Nice. Striking again, but again, every time you strike your fist into this thing, it seems like it's draining the actual life out of your body. Oof, that's 8 necrotic damage you take. See.
So
Ooh, this time you can feel the strike hits him, you can see the darkness sort of waver for a moment. But still keep itself formed.
As feeling that light and the coldness sort of sap to my body, visions of Stroma sort of start to shiver, reaching for my flask that keeps me warm. My hands sort of like shaking, taking a small sip, maybe a big gulp at this point, of his Dragon Dew flask as a bonus action.
Nice.
As that'll be my turn.
Alrighty.
Just trying to stay on top of him, making sure he can't cower away from the light. Actually, I'll go over. Now.
Nice. And as you go around the corner, you're trying to find a good place to get around him, flank him, and then immediately out of the darkness, a fist comes flying out. One that you can't quite see because it seems like he's somewhat obscured. He suddenly, 15. Ooh, although
Oh.
somehow with your quicken reflexes, maybe this time entering a more drunken Zen state with your Dragadu Flask, you feel the shift in the cold as the magic wavers and woof, dodge the fist. Does not strike.
Ah, I am drunk. Faster.
Oh boy.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Gotta re-sort the initiative. for
Oh,
my
sure.
hound.
Gotcha. Is he coming up? Yeah. Oh, ooh, yeah.
He does.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Nice. Alright, as it comes on to you, the hound now, despite this creature moving away, despite not being able to truly see him, you always know where he is.
How the fuck do I get over there? I mean, you don't take damage from just walking through the fire, do you?
No,
Oh.
I don't think
Yes.
so. Do you?
Yes.
You're walking through fire.
I guess that's fair.
If you touch it.
Still got a dex save, though.
Well,
Jumping over.
Hound with a mission as he will try to walk across this thing, walking through the fire.
Alright, give me a dex save. DC 17, as you take 14 fire damage, the fire roiling across your body, but the hound is just moving.
Crickerly out.
Oh, that's
is he an
true.
ally?
That
Do
is
you care
true.
about my hound?
Hey!
As just you just literally watching Gregory burn in the fire.
I'm certainly a presence upon the battlefield.
Certainly. As you walk through this time able to withstand it and sort of dip through without taking too much damage. As instead of taking 14 damage, you instead only take 7 fire damage, pulling yourself through the flames, the darkness sort of consuming the fire as you do, before you enter the darkness itself.
We'll run up to this creature and try to strike at it.
Alright. As I'm gonna say, let me double check a thing. Think. You always know where your target
He knows
is.
where it is, but he doesn't have like true sight.
Sure. You know what? I'm gonna say it counts because he's obscured, but it basically means targets can't be hidden from you. So I'm gonna say it's normal strike.
Hey. Ooh.
If you can pierce your eyes, your target is in the darkness, but that is where you rule, Luna. You can't hide from me in the dark. Give me that attack. Did you get it? Yeah, that will connect. The sword just striking true into this mound of shadow, cutting into Eric Gelner. Nice. 8 slashing damage, carving up his body. Do. See. 22. Nice.
I knock him prone.
Mm-hmm. That cuts into his body, the shadowy sword ripping up his side as he's got to make a strength saving throw. Ooh.
Oh!
The sword carves up his side, it carves up the leg, and immediately just touching wind of this, his body slips and falls as this mound of shadow hits the ground. It seems like it's no longer standing prone in this lower sort of pillar position. It's now, slided on the ground. As he is a prone boy.
Also, con save.
Also con save, exactly. Thank you so much.
I don't know if he can fail it. I think he has a +9.
You'd have to roll in that one.
He would
Even though
still
in
make
that
it,
one
yeah.
he'd make it. Yep.
Gotta do 22 damage or more.
Okay. The cart carves into his body, but even though he lays on the ground, prone in this massive shadow form, it doesn't seem like he quite gives up his magic.
Is your
Alright, that
hound
would be
immune to
monster.
necrotic damage?
It's true. As as you carve into the sword, the darkness roils up the blade up into the hound's arm, and this surge of darkness starts to pull upon the facsimile of life in this knight's body. Ooh, as you take 13 necrotic damage.
Oh, that's not gonna be good.
As we come now, this creature trying to pull himself back onto his feet, using what little movement he can, just rolling itself back up. Not again. Not again. See, come on now. Come on, don't do that. Oh, he does. Nice. As Persephone, it seems like this mound of light has shined itself from the center of this area, sort of casting over all these creatures. Even the ones next to you seem to be recoiling from its bright glow, despite not really seeing where it's coming from. And it seems like Eric Gelner and Javen, and looks like this creature that Luna summoned, are all sort of tussling back to the northern side of the catacomb.
I'm gonna I'm still being grappled by this buddy, I assume.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He's scared, but he's
Okay.
grappling you.
Okay, that's fine. Just looking between the two, I'm just going to take advantage of the situation and beckon for my fire dancer to weave around my friends and slash out over at this guy here with my bonus action. It should be able to move 30 feet. Should I post the card?
Sure. Is it a straight line or is it just around objects and up and down and over around?
It just says move up to 30 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, it can like go upstairs and stuff.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. Sure. As you can maneuver it down here, it's around your allies, and then just carefully snaking it down here until eventually the fire dancer comes swimming around and strikes down at this creature. He's got to make dex save. Ooh, as it does, this creature, although its eyes are fixed on this source of darkness in the room, it twists and it's also the light casting across it. It twists and turns, and some of the fire that would batter into its body only grazes its side. As they 62. A little bit deep. Anything else you want to do?
Yeah, I'm going to use my action to grasp onto my crystal, and the leaves fly out towards the one that's holding on to me as I produce flame at it.
Ooh, it's gonna be at disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage! Because it's in front of me!
Ooh, but it doesn't matter as you just take the flame in hand and just shove it into its body.
Eat fire!
Ooh, it does. As you just shove this mound of green flame into its face, pow! Sort of in the same way that Samantha's green magic blew out most of its eyes. Tears into this creature and just, wow, holy shit. You can see most of the flesh has just been burned away until it's mostly just skeletal. And it seems like it would be starting to heal like it does before, but this time it seems to stay broken and wounded before you.
Let me go! That's gonna be my turn.
Alright, this creature holding on to you, see it reeling back. Ah! Light! As it seems like the light casting all across its room just begins to burn away at it. As it's singeing away at its wounds and no longer seem to be healing. Instead, it seems to do exactly what you just said, Persephone. It lets go of you. And instead just push itself against the wall, just trying to get the hell away from the shadow and light. It's confused, and it just simply, at the best of its ability, takes the dodge action, unable to truly move on its own. You're no longer grappled.
Hey!
And this creature next to the fire dancer here just swings his claw at it wildly. Ah! Ah! Get rid of that light! As he takes that much, burning away at his body, and just starts to try to do the same thing, pull away, and takes the dodge action, just trying to find escape from the light, instead moving about down here. Should do... Nice. As Samantha, still invisible, but your body is radiating this golden sunlight across your allies, it seems like Eric Gelner has fled from it, hiding in his own little pocket of darkness, seemingly shaded possibly by Gregory's large body, but you know where he's going.
Yep, just maneuver myself over here. Continuing to let that consume charges, so that's 48. So it sheds sunlight everywhere still.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the hound of Luna sort of kind of just barely, I guess, being able to discern it from Eric Gelner's shadowy, moiled self. But it's fine. I can control and weave my magic regardless of what's in front of me, as I'll just raise up my scepter, and two arrows form near it, and I just wave forward, and they shoot forward and just go over the shoulders of the hound and try to slam home into the shadow. Hopefully normal rolls since I'm invisible.
Yeah, it'd be normal. Because you can't quite see him, but he can't quite see you.
I don't think I need to use it. Does it take my bonus action? No, so I will go ahead and use my bonus action and infuse them with my wretchedness.
Alright. 23 will connect. 17 will barely connect, as through the darkness, these two bolts striking down into his body. Let's see. Ooh, juicy. As both bolts batter into its body, one strike it's able to withstand quite strong, but the other one it has to try and withstand itself. Let's see, it's got to get a con save for the poison. Zoo. Ooh, it fails that as you see like its body starts to roil and fill up. It starts to, there's a growling sound, and immediately the shadow pulses, and it seems like this thing stands strong. But it still has to make a con save for its spell. It seems like it shook off the magic, although you can't really see it because you can't really see it.
I can sense it.
As con save the magic. Ooh, just barely able to hold on to that magic. So you see the light, the dim shadow start to flicker. The moiling shapes in the shadow sort of pull apart before forming around him. He's still standing.
And does Shadow of Moil only work on
melee attacks?
Okay.
Punch the shadow boy. Take the shadow damage.
But you shoot the shadow boy, you're fine. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Alright, that's it for me.
Okay. As Gregory, you see this mounded shadow pull itself into a corner. Javen, and in the shadow, you can see it looks like Luna's hound besetting it with her sword. And now, with your larger size, this hole is now just but a leap in front of you.
As I just take a standing jump to just put out a leg and hop over this fucking hole, just landing with a thud on the other side, shaking the ground. So I take one more step as I just swing down on this thing. With the smaller size of my weapon, I can't really put all my strength behind it. I am just trying to swing and swing and swing as I'm just trying to cut through this strange shadowy form with just sort of maddening speed. I'm just trying to dice this creature to pieces, as just making 3 attacks without Great Weapon Master, but still recklessly.
Okay.
Your weapon doesn't increase in
So
size
normal
with you?
You said it did?
Oh, okay.
I'm basically wielding it one-handed at this point. Ah! It's the normal attack though, fuck!
As the sword comes down to the darkness, you strike down in the middle of it, and seems to dissipate for a moment as you cut through it, but you realize his body wasn't in the center of that one. As he pulls himself away from the strike, that one will miss.
As the first one strikes through the darkness, I'm trying to peel away that fucking darkness, and with the last bit of holy power within my body, my sword begins to glow as I cut down one more time!
Ooh, and one more time you do! As you carve part one of the darkness away, you find another spot, and just with pure strength and power, you bring that blade down.
The power of my last second level smite clears away the darkness. I see just that ever slow slight bit of horrible wretched face as I just cut into that neck with as much as I have, as that necrotic magic leaks in, tearing away its skin, as that smite cuts.
Ooh. Okay, let's do some math, y'all. Damn. As the sword glows for a moment and cuts down into the mass of this shadow, there's sort of this spark, almost like lighting gunpowder, Gregory, as the light seems to rip away all of the magic around him, as I don't think he can make a DC 42, 46?
It'd be like a 30 something.
It's 93 total damage.
It was 78.
What? It's because
Yeah.
maybe he's undead now. Maybe he
31
doesn't have his protection thing.
Plus 9, plus 23, plus 30. 93 damage.
Before the necrotic, because...
Yeah, the true necrotic. But yeah. Set that
Yeah,
math,
it's
9.
78 with the necrotic
78,
half.
yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 78 is what I got.
Okay.
Because
So,
the
hold on,
Divine
wait.
Fury is only 4 damage in total.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. 78. As it carves down into his body, splitting this light in twain, as you see this creature rip away the magic, and before you, a light that sticks into his form rips apart, and you can see that large crack like rip down its body, now glowing with that light, as you just seem to have decimated this creature, and the light around and the darkness around it seems to fade, letting in all the bright sunlight once more.
As I just wheel back my hand with this bestial fury in my body, I just try to carve into his stomach. Although, on that first strike, that necrotic damage is gonna beat up my body.
I'm about to look at as that magic pulls away, sparking, it wraps up your sword and wraps around your body, doing 11 necrotic damage.
As it tears into my fucking body, I still have just enough strength to try to put all my strength into just driving my sword all the way through its chest and just pinning it to the wall as I am striking with Great Weapon Master with its defenses.
And I'm gonna give Gregory my inspiration.
I mean, I'm already attacking with advantage,
He's
but...
already attacking with advantage. Because he
Doing
lost
it
the
in
shadow
attack.
thing.
Ah! Oh, 17!
Oh, and a 17 comes flying. You see this magic starts to cut into him immediately as his body pulls back. It raises up a hand, and again, some of the remnants of that shadow pull up along his body as it seems like he conjures a little bit more magic. And it seems like surrounding him, this mass of energy coalesces. And it seems like, actually, did you Great Weapon Master? You did a Great Weapon Master.
I did.
You did?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Making sure. As the magic starts to coalesce around him, he tries to hold up his hand, and you can see the shadow form around him as armor, and it seems to catch the sword for a moment before then it rips through the shadow regardless, as he tries to cast shadow armor, but it still breaks through.
Oh yeah. As I just drive the sword, cutting off some of his fingers and just sending it into his chest. As, yeah. Get 31 damage on that one.
Ooh. As the blade carves through his hand, gets into his shoulder, gets to the center of his chest, almost stopping at the dead center, before it finally seems like some of the flesh resists you, as it seems like he is barely holding on.
And this. And this. And this. As I'm just screeching, this horrible pain is taking over my body, as I'm just losing my fucking mind at this point. All my radiant power is gone, I've used it all, my body is falling apart, and I'm this horrible, monstrous... Gregory is just a mess. These horrible, inhuman screeches coming from him. That's me.
Alright, Quill, you see through the veil of Luna's shadow and the light casting from this invisible, seems like Samantha next to you. You see Eric Gilner being torn to shreds, almost pinned against the wall by a giant Gregory and Javen. You're still surrounded by these werewolves who seem to be besetting you.
I'm gonna just hone in as the scrapes through my shield just spark off of my blade. As I'm gonna cast a little fighting spirit, and I'm gonna attack this creature.
Nice. Using those sparks. Ooh!
Woo!
As how do you want to kill this one?
As I'm just gonna like grab his back, and the sword is just gonna go straight up through his mouth, through his skull, and I'm gonna look over his shoulder, and I'm gonna look at Luna and be like, "Finish this!" As I quickly flip it out, spin the body to the ground, and strike the creature behind me. Oh
no! They swing the sword down.
Can I? No, can I use inspiration to do a third roll on that?
Elvish inspiration.
If you have elven accuracy.
Yeah, take elven accuracy so you can be a cheaty boy.
Yeah, unfortunately, you spin your sword down. The sword sparks against the ground. The spark runs up to the creature's face, and it starts to like recoil back as you get its attention, keeping it focused on you.
I will move there to give Luna even more of a hopefully a clearer shot.
Alrighty. As Luna comes to you, your darkness coursing through your body, you see Eric Gilner, the monster he's become, pinned against the wall, stabbed with this sword. You see like he's just barely hanging on, though you know this may not be the end.
I'm just gonna start strolling forward toward him, not really paying attention to any of the other creatures nearby as my actually how many points do I have? I don't have enough points to bonus action anything. Never mind, I will get to the edge of here. I don't even know if there's anything I want to say to you at this point. What's he like? Is he just like screeching and like in
As you
pain
see-
on the floor?
As you see him basically pressed up against the wall, almost like Gregory carved into his shoulder and hand, and the sword stopped like right at the center of his chest, almost keeping him pinned until he sort of pulled himself off, but his body's basically cut in half almost halfway through here. He turns to look at you, and this monstrous face seems to just soften for a moment and seems to become a semblance of the man he used to be.
Luna, if you do this, what I have done for you, it will all fade. The magic I have used to protect your mind, it will be gone. You will feel that pain once more. Is that what you want? A life of pain, knowing who abandoned you.
At least it's my life. One that I get to make the decision on. So I will Chaos Boat him at level 4.
Ooh! Give me that attack. Ooh. As you channel this magic. What does it look like when you're casting your higher level Chaos Bolt?
Just the shadows that are emanating from her hair just starts to boil back up into her hand. All of it as it's bigger, it's almost as big as Gregory, as she just kind of lets it slowly float towards him, just menacingly. As it shrinks so it doesn't like explode on everyone else. And just enters his body, just not even like a bolt, just gentle touch as it will explode inside of him.
Okay, give me that damage roll. Ooh, what kind of damage is that?
Wow, I love that you maxed
Oh
your.
my god.
Jesus, yeah.
31 damage. There you go.
It works really well. It'll be psychic damage.
Psychic damage? Big ball
Yeah.
of shadow just gently descending down from the air. He looks up at it, looks to you.
I am not your family. I am not.
As the shadow roils into his body, he starts to shake and shiver. And how do you want to kill him? How does psychic damage kill him?
I just want him to just relive all the pain and torture that he has caused everyone in this town, just to fall upon him. Kind of like how, what's his name? The guy with the motorcycle. Exactly.
Staring at.
It's just all the pain just racks his mind, and all that pain just goes back to him.
As this magic enters him, you can see his eyes going wide.
No. I am not.
And his broken body starts to twist into form as it seems like this magic is just breaking him physically and mentally. And you can see parts of himself begin to dissolve. You can see, like, it looks like he's trying to turn back into that silver mist, but the golden light shed from Samantha's amulet, while still invisible, spreads out throughout this room, and every time it seems to come in contact with that mist, it seems to burn and dissolve away into nothing, just bit by bit.
Luna, my moonlight. Why?
As Eric Gelner, body and soul, is destroyed. And you can see all around you now the darkness still spreading, the magic taking place. The creatures beset by this terrible light that seems to burn them away immediately stop, hold themselves.
What happened? Where am I?
And the werewolf next to you, Quill, who you struck the sword down next to,
What is...
Gods.
What happened?
but most of all, what really lasts upon you, Luna, is this wave of just relief as this creature is destroyed in front of you. and something begins to pry its way into your mind, similar to when that creature looked at you, but it's more gentle, more inviting, because it's not coming from beyond, Luna, it's coming from within, as something starts to unlock, as you see faces, memories pouring into your mind, as with the destruction of Eric Gelner, Luna Gelner, you remember. As that is where we'll end tonight's session. With the memories lost for years in the mind of our shadow sorcerer finally returning to her, spilling in like soft sunlight in this dark, stony temple. The evil finally destroyed.
It has been an absolute pleasure to bring you tonight's game of Song of Rapture, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. That is episode 70, which, as per tradition, means there will not be an episode of Song of Rapture next week unless...
We'll see.
We will see. Stay tuned on Twitter and on the Twitch feed for any changes, but let's go with an assumption of maybe not.
Maybe.
But also
solid
possibly maybe. A solid maybe. So you gotta follow on Twitter or on Twitch here so you can get those definitive answers. I'll go ahead and plug it in right there for you. You can click on that sweet link, shoot us a follow, and if there's any major changes to the schedule, I'll let you know. We will be returning for
Correct. The week of Thanksgiving. Yep.
back to Mundo. Yeah, so we'll be back on the 19th, but then off on the 26th for Kingdoms of the South, and then planning to come back December 3rd. We're good? Alrighty. And again, you'll get any updates or changes for as far as the 21st goes. And then I doubt we're gonna have a game on Thanksgiving, so
I won't be here.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So
Have work.
maybe perhaps we'll have a higher chance of having the game then on next Thursday. So without much else to go off of, yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Be sure to check out the link in the chat for both Twitter and for our wonderful little official Lionhead Gaming Discord, where you can come shoot the shit, talk about the redesigned Sonic or D&D or whatever else, suit your fancy. Come on in. We're getting ready to do a little bit of what we like to call homebrew combat, where we're going to be trying to fix a spell and comparing notes and trying to see who comes up with the best fix to an existing 5th edition D&D spell. So hop on in, try to get yourself in so you can make something cool and share it with the class, so to speak. But yeah, that's all I got for you. I hope you had a good time. And as always, may your dice roll 20s, and you always make your saves.
Hey, y'all.
Toodles!
Bye.
our homeland. We know the message has to arrive, and the King of the North will rise.
Ullman or slash Ham 3 will be going on. So, Albus. A 19 will hit.
Not for shield.
Okay. Sounds good. So then the second attack, the bite misses. Second guy's spear gets a natural 20. For a total of 11 points of piercing. And then the third guy